Okay. Um, I hope you can hear me. At least that's the point of this all. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just waiting for confirmation if everything works, and then we can get the shit started. Finally, almost an hour late. I just need to know if there's sound. That's all. That's all there is to it. Can you hear me? Hang on. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? That's what I want to do. All right. I'm just gonna assume that you can hear me until I'm corrected about the shit. I had to change to my iPad and figure things out how to get the Google Hangout on air on my iPad because that's not so easy. And right now I've got this open on my computer where I had to start it, and I'm chatting this here. Hi.
Yo, I can hear you.
Finally! Oh,
Also,
fuck me.
why is
I
there
think
why are you in there twice?
because of the iPad thing. It's not because you. It's ridiculous, I know, but I can't start it.
Oh shit, we're already live? All right,
Yeah.
okay. Oh yeah.
You gotta get in the zone. Yeah, I can't start it on an iPad. Like the Hangout on air.
Okay.
But I had to use my iPad because my microphone isn't working on my laptop for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, it works great now, so.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I'm not really sure, but I think the camera quality on the iPad is better.
Could be. But maybe we should invite some peeps.
Yes. Whoever wants to join the Hangout should feel free. I'm just going to send some of the Hangout links around.
Hell yeah.
Crap. What do I want to do? Yeah, I'm really sorry that it took so long. That was almost 45 minutes. Oopsie. But I mean, it's working now.
Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Exactly. What I mean, yo.
Great, we got that sorted out.
Yeah. All right.
Just gotta tweet the new live stream link as well, so people are aware of this.
Okay, Lucy's in the chat, so.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll send her an invite, all right? Or have you already?
I have, but yeah.
Oh, then it's fine.
Okay. Well, that's confusing that Greg has started something else in the meantime.
Yeah, I think he was just like in the live stream feeling, and he was like,
yeah.
"Oh, I need my fix,
Yeah, but that's mean because now he's stealing our audience.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm just completely frazzled, even more so than I was before. That's great.
You'll do fine.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope that Greg is just gonna stop whatever he's doing and come join us. But
wait,
who knows?
I'm gonna also see if I can join his live stream and just spam the shit out of it.
Please do.
Because I'm not down for that. Greg needs to join ours.
Yeah, he promised. He said he'd be here, so he better. Greg, we need you. Oh, hello. Hi.
Hello. Hi. Hey, Dorothy.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm trying to sort out my headphones.
Yeah.
Already live, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is great. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is great.
Impressive.
Great. Yeah, Lucy.
Hi, Liz.
Hey. Hello. Okay, I'm not a
so
scatterbrained.
basically, yeah, me too. Because you probably missed that.
No, I did see. I had it up, and your mic wasn't working. I was there in the comments.
And now,
This is so loud.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, somebody has to adjust their volume then.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is Greg and Maya doing a casual live stream now?
Because he was probably being a dick and trying to steal our audience.
Mm. It's like, I'm just gonna comment on his video calling him a snake.
Please, like snake emojis all over the place.
Dude, it says I've sent too many messages that I can't send anymore.
Comment on his video calling him a snake. Okay, pop up.
I love you guys. But yeah, I'm now on my iPad, and don't be surprised that there's like two of me in the stream, in the Hangout thing, because I've basically got it open on my laptop where I had to start it, and then I shared the live thing, the Hangout link with myself, so I could access it from the iPad. It was really weird for a second when I still had the webcam turned on my laptop, and then I had the webcam on both screens, and it was just like, okay, where do I have to look?
Where am I?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway. You want to start with the topic already?
My phone wants me to go to bed now, but nah.
It's 10 to 9.
I had to get up at 5:30 today, so you know.
I mean, it's 10 to 9.
And I had to get up at 5:30 today. So
that's still not an excuse.
Please. But yeah, the topic.
Ellen is saying that Greg is sending everyone here, so hell yeah.
That's good.
Oh shit, I forgot to put the I would just like to preface before, we get into the discussion. I'm doing my makeup at the moment. So if I look if I'm just here like I am listening, I've got glitter everywhere.
I mean, glitter is great, so Yeah. Anyway, it would be great if one of you could watch the live chat and tell me if there's any questions, because I'm probably just going to focus on talking, because otherwise I'll get.
I'm watching.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Greg's here.
Yeah. Greg, do you want to join the live stream, like the Hangout thing?
Oh, so much glitter.
Okay, cool.
Mariam as well.
Yeah.
I don't think she's following me on Twitter, so I can't send her.
Zaid's here.
Greg does suck. Well, he's sending people here, so we should be grateful.
I do hate Greg.
Yeah.
Greg.
Grateful.
He sucks all the bad out of life. But yeah, keep getting distracted. Focus, Danny. Hi, Greg.
Bye, Greg.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Dorothy,
this is going to be such a shit
the
show.
sass, the immediate
Thank you.
sass.
Thanks for your faith in all of this.
Miriam is at work.
Miriam was joining me while she was at work. She was holding her phone as she was doing work. I'm like, you're gonna get fired.
All right. I mean, maybe she has a really chill boss. Who knows?
She was opening the shop, so I think she was the only one there, which is
there you
fair.
go.
All right. Topic.
All right.
Creative process. I just want to talk about VEDS for a bit, which wasn't really VEDS because I started on the 5th of September and then did it until the 9th of October and took breaks in between and whatnot, but it was basically a video every day for 30 days or every day with breaks,
a video,
whatever. 30
videos in a rough period of a month.
You made a fuck ton of videos. Yeah. That's all that matters.
Fuck ton of videos, basically.
You made more videos than I have in the past month.
Yes, I have.
I mean,
your last video was a month ago or whatever, or even more than that. I don't know. Something like that. Anyway.
Calling people out on here.
What, me calling out people? Never.
Oh.
So how are you feeling creatively now, Danny?
I'm somewhere in the middle between completely drained and just really pumped. It's really weird because I have so many things that I still want to make videos about that I had the inspiration for during VEDS that I just kind of got to thinking about and was like, hey, I actually can make a video about that. It's not too stupid, not too incoherent, because incoherence is like a white whale anyway, especially my videos.
Have you seen Arno's videos? They're not coherent at all.
What?
No, I haven't actually
videos
seen
are
any of
very
Arno's videos. I don't watch his channel. I don't follow him on Twitter. I
Who's
don't.
Arno anyway?
Never. No.
All right, I feel very attacked right now.
He sounds like a chump.
Cyberbullying campaign.
Yeah. We all love you, Arno. It's fine. Did I just call you Arno? I'm sorry.
Ouch! All right, we're talking about the creative process.
Sorry, continue.
And now we're talking about Brexit.
We're always
Bullying
talking
makes
about
me
Brexit.
feel creative.
I just tried to use my mouse on my iPad. That's not gonna work.
No. Okay, so now that you've done a video every day after a month, do you feel burnt out in any way? Because I always see, like, when big creators do, like, VEDs or Vita, afterwards they're like, I'm so creatively burnt out and I have nothing to create anymore because I've used all my ideas.
I definitely had periods during VEDs where I felt really burnt out, but actually now I'm just kind of like, I still have so many ideas left. And I actually still have some footage that I just didn't get around to edit because there were a couple of videos, like, that I just filmed in Berlin, for example. And I filmed a video with my best friend Anna, and I uploaded one, but we filmed two in one day, and I haven't edited the other one because we filmed for a fucking hour. So I still have so much footage that I just want to make something out of, and I still have so many ideas that I haven't used for VEDs, but I also feel kind of like, I'm really glad that I don't have to sit down and edit after work every single fucking day.
Yeah.
So what I'm gathering is that you need to hire an editor, and then you can do VEDI, which is video every day for a year.
Oh.
No.
Why?
I think that would actually.
Why would anyone? Yeah, but no.
I don't get daily vloggers, like, as a concept. No, not daily vloggers. Daily vloggers, I get you. Just filming your day. There's absolutely no skill required in that. Like, fine. But like,
No, I disagree.
No?
Let's be honest. Okay.
I disagree with
Dorothy
that.
is coming for everyone today.
Okay, in the sense that it doesn't take the same creative process.
I actually disagree.
No, wait for it.
Yeah.
It takes a different creative process, but it doesn't mean
takes-
that it's any less work or any less, like, creative work. So.
I disagree that.
I think that vlogging, like proper daily vlogging is difficult because you have to make a narrative out of your day.
Exactly.
So you have to have a beginning, middle, and end to a day, which might be super uneventful.
No, but like, to me, I watch. I'm a big fan of, like, daily vlogs and, like, monthly vlogs because I have no social life and therefore like to live through others. But like, so in my opinion, like, you know, to see someone pick up a camera and like say, this is what I'm doing and this is what I've done today.
Well, you could.
It's a no, but like, I don't know, I think it's like it's a different type of creative process.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think to equate it, I'm not saying that the content is any like worse, but to equate it with the creative process of somebody who doesn't do daily vlogs is, I don't think you can do that.
I feel like with daily vlogs. Sorry, Lucy, go ahead.
No, well, I was just gonna say I filmed a second every day because I saw some people on Twitter do it, and I couldn't even do a second every day. Never mind like actual daily vlogging or anything else. Even like whipping out the camera in the store, I was like, people might see this, and I felt really uncomfortable. So I did like not even 7 days, I think, and then I just stopped.
So 7 seconds.
So I think,
where are 7 seconds, Lucy?
Yeah, 7. I put them at the end of the video.
It would make a great Vine.
Yeah, if only Vine was
Wow.
If Vine still
R.I.P.
yes.
Thanks for that platform.
I don't know.
I love Vine.
I don't get like, no, it's incorrect. To say. I've immediately just like ruined my own thought thing to ignore me.
But I feel like with like daily vlogs, the creative process isn't so much in the prep, but more like in the editing. Maybe not necessarily more so than with other videos, but it's definitely, like Arno said before, it's definitely, you have to structure a narrative out of your everyday life. And maybe that doesn't come before filming or even during filming, but afterwards. And I think that's really tricky at times. I mean, I've done a couple of things in Berlin where I was just, I mean, I wouldn't really call it daily vlogs, but I just filmed what I was doing, kind of hoping that I could make something out of it. And I think that didn't really turn to daily vlogs because I'm scared shitless of talking in public, like with my camera out.
Yeah,
so I didn't do that. So I just filmed feet and stuff around me and not my face, maybe for a couple of seconds, and then I was like, okay, bye. And then I made like a lot of different things out of kind of the same footage, which was really interesting for me.
I'm actually interested.
Yeah.
I'm actually interested kind of. So like besides VEDs, right? Because that was kind of like you had to make 30 videos, so it's kind of intense. Yeah. But usually, like, where do you start with the topic for you? Like, this is kind of an open question, not just for you, but everyone. Like, where do you start?
I mean, there were a couple of videos with VEDs where I was just like, well, I saw this tweet and we've talked about this on Twitter and now I want to talk about it. Like with the video about different brand names and I think even the cruelty-free thing, and there was another one that I can't think of right now. And for the most part, that's where I get videos from. Like a lot of them are like, well, I want to talk about this. It's too long for Twitter. Can't be asked to write a blog post. And also, I don't think people would read it. So let's film a video and try to make it as coherent as possible, which never worked. But hey,
I mean that's fair.
I'm very like that because my content is obviously very social justice warrior. Like I get my content
out of recent events, right?
Out of recent events. So like, if people aren't doing what's the word, problematic things in the world, like I'm fucked. But like,
don't you worry, Dorothy. I'll keep it going for you. I'll provide you with content.
I mean, as long as Trump is president, you'll always have something to talk
about. No, don't worry.
As long as the Tories are in power, you'll have something to talk about.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting question from Miriam, I think. Do you think that you to make daily vlogs influence your own content? So like, do you? No, for me, I think they do because with daily vlogs, it's less like edited content, and that's like me. Like
Oh no, I disagree. I feel like it's more fast paced.
Like this and like like I'm like like Whereas
what are these noises?
In the script,
I don't think you know.
Right. I say a lot.
Yeah.
And like in
also the
vlogs, it's like they don't really cut out the because it's a conversation type thing that they're just filling you in. It's super cash, like whereas in like more scripted, edited things, like it's very like we're gonna make this flow. But like for me, even though my content technically is kind of like super edited feel, like
size.
Yeah, it's very like like I can't English.
My
I actually for videos that I make, I usually script out a lot. Like it's not necessarily
like
that I'll
text.
say, and it's not necessarily that I'll actually say that whole text.
Yeah.
But it helped me a lot because if I script it out, it helps me kind of think of things that might be fun to include. Think of things like, and I also think while I'm writing, you know. So it helps me think.
Otherwise, you don't think, right?
Never.
I
do only think
while writing.
No, but it helps me. Like it's for example, for example, like the last video I made about the bananas one.
Wow,
amazing!
All I know is I have thoughts about that video.
No, but that started
everyone's reaction.
But that started with me eating a banana. I was like, I'm gonna write about this, and then I just wrote it down, and then it helped me. It's like do stuff, think of more stuff.
Arno gets inspired by.
There's always a step in between.
Huh?
I always have the step in between, like having an idea about a video and actually making and uploading it. So it's really like interesting to see that you just go, I don't care.
Yeah, I guess
just make it, upload it, fine.
Yeah,
and it's a good video to be fair.
I guess it helps me. You know, otherwise I won't do anything.
Yeah, I mean for VEDs, often like most of the videos I just didn't script at all. Like I had some kind of inkling what I wanted to talk about, and then I just turned on the camera and went for it. And that's why some of them really took ages to film, because I changed my mind halfway through. But I just didn't have the time to properly sit down and script something beforehand. But sometimes I used to do like proper scripts and then actually read off those scripts. And my videos were just horrible. Like my camera presence was just shit. And you can definitely tell which videos were scripted.
Yeah.
So I've kind of stopped doing that. And maybe if it's like a really difficult video, I'll just note down like, notes, but no full sentences or whatever, and just have some guideline to stick to. Might not do that in the end, but just something to hold on to.
We've received an excellent comment from Ellen.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that in too.
A script, but also some things. For example, my last video, I wanted intentionally to be unscripted because I needed to feel honest and kind of raw. And what I want to comment on that is go and watch my new video because that's exactly what I talk about. But also, like,
to just plug.
But also, genuinely, what do we all think of scripting and honesty? And in terms of the fact that literally every video we make is some form of performance, and we're choosing our words carefully and then we're editing it. How do we feel about...
I have major thoughts on this. I watched your video and it sent me into like... So I think you are... I think I am one of the few people that I can say that, like, I'm not one of those we're lying to you kind of people.
No, I want
so
to
like Greg, you're saying.
Because even my raw footage is usually maybe, if I make a 10-minute video, my raw footage is 13 minutes, 14 minutes long. Wow. And I will cut out that 3 minutes of me being like, you fucking idiot, Dorothy. You're an idiot. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Would be great to keep in, though.
Just like one video.
Yeah, I
with
just
all of the leftovers.
I hit my microphone. I'll like hit my microphone because I talk with my hands, and I'll be like, God, you are an idiot. So
I would pay to see that, though.
So there's like the 3 minutes I cut out. So when I watched
bread only.
Patreon. So when I watched Greg's vid, it was one of those things where like I don't think I can relate to that because I don't really cut out anything. I don't really edit my videos a lot, and like what I say is genuinely always what I mean. It's like I don't ever pick my words carefully. I mean, in my last video, I like accidentally like called white people like racist, like most of them, and like like I was like, it's true, but like like some people might have like kind of been like, gotta tread around it carefully, but I was just like, fuck it, say what you want to say. And maybe that's why people find my content like cool. It's like, wow, she's so honest.
Oh my God.
One of the issues I have with that, not with you, Dorothy, but with that message that I've seen a lot of people get across, is that sometimes, I'm doing it right now, I'm choosing my words. So sometimes getting your point across immediately and not editing it and just saying what you mean, sometimes you word things poorly and sometimes you end up putting across the wrong message. Even though you were doing everything you could to be as real and as open as possible, you might misspeak and not catch it. And then people will misinterpret what you're saying. So you're not being entirely honest.
But no, I don't think honesty is dependent on choosing your words perfectly so that you bring your message across. I think that you have an idea in your head, and while trying to bring it out in the world, you're going to have some imperfect form that you use. So that's language, which isn't perfect. That's video that isn't perfect. I don't think there's a perfect way to transmit information that you have in your head to the world or to other people. Yeah, and I think it's almost naive to think that that it's possible to be completely and utterly honest about what's in your head, because that also means that you know exactly what is in your head.
I 100% agree with that, because I feel like everything is a filter. Like you're saying, just trying to put whatever thoughts you have going on, just trying to, like, language is the first filter we use to communicate. Communication is filtering, and I don't think that filtering in any way is dishonest necessarily. Does it have like opportunity to be dishonest? Yes, of course. I can choose words that that are lies. Basically, I can lie to you. I can hide the bad stuff on YouTube. I can choose to lie, but just filtering, just putting on a filter on something doesn't mean that it's a lie or dishonesty, because that's just what we do as humans. We live by filtering, by communicating, and communication is a filter.
I also think that it's very difficult to be always aware of what you are presently thinking, and sometimes there's stuff underneath that, or at least I believe there's stuff underneath that influence your behavior, but you're not conscious about, maybe.
Miriam,
I was about to say what Miriam said.
Miriam said, but what is it real? What does it mean to be real or authentic? How valuable are those qualities to your content, and how do you incorporate those traits in your videos right now? Which is where I'm going to call Greg out. Yeah. Because I think Greg has this like entire thing where you somehow
You're frozen a little bit there, Dorothy.
I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Realness. Realness. Okay, leave me alone. Okay, don't come for me while I'm coming for Greg.
No, go back, because we couldn't hear you. You froze.
Yeah, you cut out.
Okay.
Just repeat what you said.
Greg has a tendency to equate authenticity and being real with the idea of people being, I don't know, like people being completely themselves. But like that's not authentic and it's not real, because there are never situations in which we're completely ourselves, whether we like to admit it or not. So like my persona with you is different from my persona with Arno, is different from my persona with Danny. Like you all will acknowledge me as a different type of person. So being real is so like, it's so subjective to the situation that you're in, that like the entire idea of being real on the internet is, what is it? Like we're not real in other situations, so why are we expected to be real?
Or maybe if you're real, we're always performing. If I can add to that, because that's basically what I said in the comment to your video, Greg.
Yes, which I still need to actually properly respond to at some point. Because you wrote an essay.
Yeah,
another cool.
I just think it's. Yeah, I agree basically with everything you just said.
That's all fair. Gosh.
And also, this is interesting. Ellen is saying, I think the idea that we can criticize people who aren't being authentic or who are lying by negation can be problematic, as it forces people to share, even if they are uncomfortable sometimes.
Do you even know? Like, how can you tell that someone is like lying unless it's like obviously clear? But like, if someone is putting on a personality, you can never tell, right?
Like Jenna Marbles, her content used to be very like putting on an act kind of. Or like, you know, there are people whose content is explicitly like, this is a persona. So like Miranda Sings is a persona.
Yeah.
That's explicitly clear. But people like Jenna Marbles and the other, like Tana Mongeau, they like made content that was super like, oh my God, this is this and this is this and this is this, which is obviously some kind of like acting or persona, but like, it wasn't like explicitly clear that was a persona kind of thing.
Yeah,
but one thing I want to make quite clear is that what Ellen said, in that sometimes forcing people to share can be uncomfortable. We've got a new one. It's not necessarily that you know, but we often hear these broad statements about how people online are dishonest or filtering, and it's very loaded, and it's more that aspect which I disagree with. What I want to comment on is, I don't think. I don't believe that being real or that being authentic online is entirely to do with sharing everything or sharing the truth, because then we can lead to a Dodie situation where she overshares and etc.
And it might be triggering for other people.
Exactly.
And also not healthy for herself.
Yeah. What I kind of, it's very difficult to articulate. What I want is, what I want to get across is that I think being real and being authentic online, if you value it, some people don't, that's totally fine. However, if you are someone that values it, then I believe that you should, no, that's the wrong way of saying it. I believe
stop filtering yourself.
Greg!
I believe that through the creative process, there are ways you can ensure that people understand you, and that those ways can go beyond scripting versus non-scripting. And that's something I don't see many people talk about, because a video is more than just, it can be more than just sitting and talking to a camera, because we have editing, we have text, we have side reel, B-reel, side footage, whatever.
Outtakes!
Exactly. There are loads of ways we can get across our message beyond just talking. And I want to ask how you guys incorporate that into your creative process, maybe your videos.
So like the visual element of video, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I actually don't really use it that much. I think I have some videos where I tried it out, and it's always been kind of an experimental kind of thing. Because I do think that, for example, last hangout we talked about this Australian girl who was making like, what's her name?
Boulevard.
Beth, right? Beth Boulevard.
I love her.
And she does, and I kind of got like your description with visual poetry. I kind of like, that's a very, very good description of her content. And I think that, for example, what I really like about, Andrew Huang?
No, I don't.
So he's
the
like,
guy who makes the relationship videos.
No, he makes music production.
No,
okay. So
yeah,
like,
the dude you showed me, right? I've been subscribed to him ever since.
I don't know if, but maybe, yeah. But he makes really cool, what he does is he makes really good music, but he always combines it with kind of very, very well-made, cut-together video as well, of just his office or just like the surroundings in his neighborhood or something. And for some reason, it works really well. Yeah, but in a really different way from Casey Neistat. Yeah.
A point
I wanted to address something else in the chat. That Discord in the Melody. I don't know her real name.
That's Anna.
I think I follow her on
so beautiful Anna.
She said, I kind of have the feeling it's code switching with personalities. And I just want to say that's goes like beyond YouTube even. I do that with my parents and friends and stuff.
We do it in everyday life. It's just part of our programming. It's like,
why is it so different on YouTube then?
I think
that's why I wanted to clarify. I don't believe it's just be your true self online, because obviously don't. Obviously,
there's so many true selves to just one person.
Yeah, exactly. We do it in real life. So the reason I'm specifying online is because it's we're making media. We are all of us making essentially short films.
I'm not making anything, so don't count me in that.
Okay, well, aside from Dorothy, we're all doing good things.
Get off the street.
Yeah. Dorothy is just a viewer.
I am.
You can buy Not Just a Viewer t-shirts on my Redbubble if you want.
Can I have one for free? I'll rep it to my 300 plus subscribers.
No, you can't, because that would mean that I would have to buy one, because I'm not famous enough to actually have my own store. I'm going through a third party.
All right. Anyway, back from t-shirts
to the creative process. Yes.
Can I go back to what Greg said about different types of processes?
Yeah.
So like I've tried the whole not just gonna sit down and make a video. So I usually do it with my poetry based videos, in which I don't know, I did one with historical images a year ago now, and I think with that it's one of those things where I prefer watching that content. but like, because I think it's very aesthetically pleasing, but when it comes to me making them, my brain just doesn't work like that. So I've recently had to message a friend being like, I want to make these cool poetry videos. You are better than me at the whole thing. Can you help, please? So he's helping me, and like that's like his creative process, but not mine.
That's actually funny that you mentioned this, because this is what Mariam actually just said. Where you have like where you try out different processes, right? And like you have one to script your own video, one unplanned, one with like points, one with a voiceover, one of none of your own visual content, stuff like that. But that would be like a good thing to try out and see.
Something that I'm a big advocate for is experimenting with various styles, because you might stumble upon a process, an end result, or even just a single technique that you haven't considered before and that really gels with you. Case in point, some of you may be aware I'm very fixated on the idea of people holding mugs of tea in videos.
Actually, interesting thing. That's probably what, like, something Lucy, like that is probably what I'm going to write my thesis about. Sorry.
Say that again, Danny.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, something just happened.
No, it's fine.
Okay, good. Like, that's probably what I'm going to write my bachelor thesis about. Like, I'm going to write it about narrative in YouTube videos, and what I want to look at is probably
inspired by my video, by the way.
Inspired by Arna's video, by the way. You should go check it out. It's probably, it's going to be about narrative in YouTube videos. And I first thought about maybe looking at daily vlogs or travel vlogs, and like the narrative behind those. But I'm probably gonna look into that emergence of authenticity, where people like sit down to have a chat with their mug in their hands, with like the footage of turning on the camera and turning off the camera to like make this distinction clear, to that there's like a wall, but that wall isn't as created as in other videos. Or well, I don't know what I'm saying.
So that's describing my content.
Don't censor yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that too. Like I've done those shots in like one video, and that's the thing. We all participate, not all of us, but like generally as YouTubers, we participate in that kind of style, and I'm really interested in that and looking at that from a narratological perspective, and that's what I'm going to write about. My bachelor thesis.
Hell yeah, girl!
Hell yeah! So, like the idea behind it. Specifically the tea is a really good, I believe, way of communicating things in that visual, poetic, metaphorical element without going full Beth Boulevard. In that we're all aware of what Taha does with his mug, yeah?
No. Nope. He makes it, it's the meme, it's like, I have a mug of tea, but it's not actually tea. Oh wait, no, this mug is empty now that we've got this idea across, we can get on with my video. He makes it clear that like, this is a prop.
That is actually quite cool. I'm going to write that down for my thesis.
So, he's done it for like 3 videos, I reckon. Maybe some of the
basically all of his videos in the past 2 years.
I've literally written down Taha's mug meme, so there you go.
Watch it. It's really good. It's really interesting to study, because he started off, like he's progressed it. He started off just like holding it, and then he said it was empty. Look at this. This is a construction I'm performing right now. And then in
so basically what you were doing in your video.
Yes, I was directly referencing it.
Okay.
Except no one does a hardcore stand, so like the message kind of like, woo.
Well, it isn't a task stand, to be honest.
But like the thing is, the kind of content that I watch is not the same as the kind of content that I make. So you talking about this, I'm like, I've never seen.
I don't think
some of those videos. Like most of those
really stupid, because
it's a very British thing.
Like,
it's a very British.
But the mug with the mug with tea, or what?
Mug with tea, yeah.
So the way,
but like generally for like creative purposes, if you don't watch the content that you would make, like where do you get the inspiration then?
That's a very good question.
That's very good.
For what kind of content? Sorry.
Well, I don't watch the kind of content that I make usually. Well, I watch a different style than what I make myself. But then I struggle with finding inspiration for my own videos because I don't have any reference that I like to watch that I want to like do myself.
And like,
so I was asking
watching
you, like,
videos
where
that
do you get...
yeah, like watching the videos that you want to make, like the style of videos that you want to make yourself. Is it not an option for you?
Well,
do you just not like watching?
I really want to make. Just I wouldn't watch the videos that I make if I was someone else. That sounds so bad, but like style-wise, I'm not very interested in the kind of videos that I make myself, but I enjoy making them, and that's the whole point. So that's why I do it.
That's totally fair.
So
finding inspiration for your videos is kind of hard if you don't have like anyone you look up to in the same style.
I suppose.
So for me,
go for it, Dorothy.
Okay, it's a quick point. Anyway, for me, I don't particularly watch a lot of like social justice warrior content. Like, I don't indulge in them. Like, I'm subscribed to them, and like I know who they are on the internet. But when it comes to watching their videos, I find them very like
exhausting in a way, right?
Yeah, like, so I don't know. With my videos, I try to get my message across in like a we're going to sit and have a conversation type way. And hopefully, like, at the end of my videos, I make it very clear that, like, please, like, get back to me in the comments below, because I don't know if what I'm saying made any sense kind of way. But I feel like with social justice warrior content, it's very preachy, and I can't take that in. But then, like, there's content that I watch that I could never make. So, like I said, big fan of daily vlogs and, like, weekly vlogs and stuff, but I could never make them, because I don't leave my bed very often, so like that would be pretty boring, pretty dull.
I think that you can take inspiration from other places and apply it to your own work. Case in point, because everything's about me. When I write my poetry, I don't read poetry. I have that book right next to me. I have this. This is the second poetry book I've ever bought, not for school. The first was Savannah Brown's, and that was because I like Savannah Brown's work and I wanted to support her monetarily. Yeah. And so I find myself not reading. You're all right. I find myself not reading poetry for a bunch of reasons. But then you might say, well, how do you find inspiration to write your own? And the answer to that is in songs. I listen to a lot of rap, and I listen to a lot of more poetic songs like Lorde. Her first album, Pure Heroine, the music is arguably one of the least important aspects in comparison to anything else. Like, her lyrics are just poems that she sings. And so I take my inspiration from the music world and just apply it elsewhere. So you can totally do that with your videos.
Did you see how Greg managed to get in there? He listened to rap because he's like super multicultural.
Dorothy, don't come for me like this.
But no, I get that. But like, see, I'm completely different in that respect.
She doesn't listen to rap.
I don't. Excuse me, Anna, if you saw my tweet the other day, I complained about how I listened to too much rap and my flatmates don't, and it's causing a clubbing drift. Okay, anyway.
Dorothy, if you've got any recommendations, hit me up.
Oh my god, that's an entire separate live stream, Gregory.
Hell yeah.
Well, write that down.
So when it comes to writing poetry, it's a completely different creative process for me, in the sense that, like, I definitely read more poetry to get inspired. In the sense, like, I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling particularly heartbroken today. Let me read other heartbreaking poetry in the hopes that something will flow. But when it's with videos, I'm like, well, I'm a bit angry. Let me sit down and film something and hope some coherent mess flows together. Like, I think every medium has a different creative process.
Yeah.
And it's part of the creative world, you know, boys, like, or any other gender.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of, I mean, like, getting inspired. I do get inspired by other videos because I watch a lot of the stuff that I want to make, and I want to enjoy my videos, not just like enjoy making them, but I also want to enjoy watching them, which is kind of hard if you don't perfect your video the way you want it to, and you're just like, cringe. But the people I follow are people that I want to not emulate, but definitely get inspired by. So, I mean, that's a different situation to you, I guess, Lucy. But I don't know, maybe start liking your content, like like watching your content, and then watch similar people. That's what I would suggest. But if you do,
for me, I really watch a wide range of creators. A lot of I watch vloggers like Dodie, you know, but I also watch like Rooster Teeth. I've watched Rooster Teeth for a very long time, or College Humor. You know, like completely different kinds of channels, but yeah, but I kind of always, I guess I just get inspiration more from day-to-day life than YouTube videos.
Yeah, for me it's definitely both.
Yeah, like it helps if like usually it helps writing down any kind of idea I might have. You know, like I'm walking through town,
that's what I do.
And I'm like, oh shit, I should remember that, and maybe I won't do anything with it, but it's just something, you know?
Yeah, I still have like 20 videos ideas. I don't know if I'm ever going to make anything out of that. But and those are just the ones I wrote down. I'm sure that there was some that was just like a glimpse of a really, really bad idea that I didn't even manage to write down before I went away again.
Oh no, you said no. Sorry, it was shit. What did I just do?
What are you doing, Greg?
Thanks, Alan.
I'm playing with a bottle top, and I just keep dropping it.
Bottle top.
Danny, you said like half jokingly, like start liking the content you make, and what you can actually do, as Ellen mentioned a little while before, is you can mood board. So what I did recently when I made my most recent one is I wanted sort of to refresh my memory on how to do the kind of video that I made and sort of inspiration. And so I watched Fran's video called like Fran Is Not Here. I watched one of Leighton's videos. I watched one of Taha's. Even if they don't appeal to you, even if you don't just want to watch them for entertainment's value, go and experience and take in a bunch of videos related to what you want to do, and they could give you ideas.
I started
research. Hell yeah!
I started making a playlist on YouTube with videos that like particularly inspire me with their with the vibe they give off, or the particular editing style or whatever. And that's just really something that I go back to now, like for aesthetic things, to just kind of improve my own videos. Not to copy them, but
no.
Actually,
copying is bullshit anyway. Copying is great.
Yeah, I think copying is actually a great way of finding your own thing. You know.
Yeah, because it's never going to be 100% copy. Like it's not going to be a carbon copy.
No, I mean unless you, even if you literally
on Vimeo, it's really good.
What?
On Vimeo, there is a 40-minute, I think, documentary called "Everything Is a Remix."
Vimeo.
Dude,
Sounds
we're on
fake.
YouTube. Shut up about Vimeo.
Unless YouTube pays me, I will recommend Vimeo.
Vimeo is great. There is a documentary called "Everything Is a Remix," and it is eye-opening on the idea of copying and magpieing and remixing, and that nothing you do can ever be original.
Oh, wait, I do know that one. Everything is a remix.
Nothing you can do. Sorry?
Is it called Everything Is a Remix?
Yes.
Oh, that's an amazing series. I love that one.
Really good. Really fucking good. If you're ever having a creative crisis, or if you're ever thinking, God, I want to be original, just fucking watch Everything Is a Remix. It tells you
and then you'll never feel original again, but you're going to be okay with it.
No, but it takes away from like originality that's somehow like a virtue or something like you should strive to be. I think that it's actually, if you copy someone, and if you, I think in the end we're all copying the same kind of like vlogger template, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody started it.
Yeah,
Charlie is so cool. Like.
Yeah, no. Zane,
was he the first one, or was he the first popular one?
Like
he's just the first popular
BuzzFeed guy. What's that? What's his name? The dude who now runs BuzzFeed.
Phil DeFranco?
No.
Philip DeFranco runs a BuzzFeed.
Oh, but he was like Zane Frank.
I don't pay attention to famous people. I'm sorry.
Z Frank, whatever.
Z Frank.
I think
that's how we're pronouncing it now.
Yeah, Z Frank.
We're just French and saying Z Frank.
Z Frank, but that's the guy. He basically like I think he invented like cutaways, like that you basically like, and then you cut, and then you're like this, and then you're like cut, and then you're like this.
Jump cuts, yeah.
Jump cuts.
He may have, I don't know who invented it, but it was certainly popularized by him and the Vlog Brothers, etc., etc., etc.
Me.
Yeah.
And Dorothy.
Thank you.
Dorothy invented it.
I actually invented it.
Phillips the Franco.
Okay, I have to go. I have to go in like 5 minutes.
Oh, you're going to a party?
I am, but I do have.
And you say you don't leave your room like ever. What the fuck?
Oh my.
Cheated.
You're lying to us. Are you honest on that? I don't think so.
Honesty on YouTube.
I'm only leaving the house so I can make friends at uni. Okay, you leave me alone.
Dorothy, have a shot on me.
Okay. But I did have like a question that I wanted to ask before.
What? No. You're leaving and you want to ask a question?
Yes, I know. The absolute the cheek. But what do you think?
Preposterous.
What do you think about being involved in other people's creative process? So for me, every month-ish, for the past like 3 months or so, Sam Angle like asks me to check his like pre-draft, like for PMS or any like videos he creates, and he like runs it past me. He's like, what do you think? Like, and like, so that's a part of his creative process is coming to me. What do you think about involving other people in your creative process / being involved in other people's creative processes?
I think that it is something valuable to consider. I'm not going to say anyone should or shouldn't do it because it's very situational, and you can easily find yourself doubting yourself or relying on others for approval. However, it can be very useful to run things by other people. Case in point, Sam also came to me on his August one for help with the video game references. And Ben from Canada came to me recently about his use of text and subtitles. And if you find someone in your life who is a little bit more knowledgeable than you on anything, literally anything, then you can definitely run it by them, see what they think. Even if they're not an expert in that field, then it's good to get a second opinion. However, I should also stress it's good to take the second opinion on board and reject it. You can absolutely reject it. It's just good
sometimes
to see
it's just I mean, sometimes it just helps playing it by another person, like not even like listening to whatever they're saying, but just speaking it, or like writing things down, prepare it for somebody else to see. That can help already. But even so, like taking whatever they say on board and then maybe rejecting it, maybe taking it on, I think that's great. And I don't think they need to be like more knowledgeable than you, maybe even less so. Like, how does this feel for an outsider?
That's what Sam
I need a second opinion before this goes online. And I think that's fine. That's perfect.
I know nothing. I know nothing about like color grading.
Definitely not
anything.
But I would really need to trust them for some, like at least trust their opinion and trust their, because I am a bit precious about, even though I make stupid videos. I am kind of like it's what I make, you know. It's if I make it, it feels like it's mine, and if I don't,
your baby in a way.
Yeah, and even though I know that the person won't really, like, I don't know. I don't want to second guess myself if I feel like I did the right thing, and someone else that I don't really. I was like, oh, maybe a second opinion, and they're like, okay, this is kind of bad. I don't know if you should do it.
Yeah.
On the back of that, how do you involve criticism that you get from maybe a video or something in your creative process in the future? So someone comments on your video saying, oh, I mean, this was okay, but like this could have been done, or like this, maybe tweak this a little bit. Like, do you?
I would actually like more criticism. Because I usually don't get criticism on my videos. Which okay.
I'm always free to hate.
I'd like I mean, maybe not necessarily in the comments, but I would like some feedback. You know, if people are like, hey, maybe you can improve this, or this doesn't flow as nice. Yeah, sure. But that's different than when it's not uploaded yet. You know?
Yeah. When Ben came to me, or in one of the Creative Scatty chats, side note, Creative Scatty is a really helpful support group for the creative process. If you want to get involved in that, contact Francesca Giorgio. It's so good. We meet weekly. It's great. Ben,
online?
Online, yes.
Online. Yeah.
Online. We can't meet like 50 people from around Britain. At
I
least
mean,
not
you
in
could
Britain. There's some people aren't in Britain.
Our Fran actually pays for flights every single
That's why you
time.
voted for Brexit. I mean,
Yeah. No, anyway, so yeah, Ben on a live stream and personally, he's multiple times just said, tear me apart, because it won't hurt me.
Yeah.
It will, if anything, help me do better. Because I can take on the advice, I can ignore the advice, but don't worry about hurting my feelings, because he has done. He is a soulless monster.
In a way, that's really, I mean, just generally, yes, criticism is great, but I can't deal with criticism like at all whatsoever. Just tell me that something isn't perfect, I'll be like, oh my god, I'm so horrible. So yeah, maybe not. No, but yeah, criticism is great and necessary, and yeah, maybe it's a bit awkward publicly, but I mean, you don't have to take it on board. If it's something that you feel sure about that some people just don't like, you can consider that maybe, or you could just leave it.
Does anyone have, because Rebecca has identified really with not being able to deal with criticism, does anyone have any advice for dealing with criticism to share?
Okay, this will be my last little tidbit before I have to go.
Shoot.
Criticism is something that there's a difference between somebody ripping you into shreds and somebody criticizing you. I think when it comes to criticism, especially from people that you love and trust, it's something that you should take on board. Even if it's a subscriber who wants to see you do better, it's something you definitely need to take on board and know that they're not attacking what you're making, just like they want it to be better and they want something better for you. And there's something really amazing about being able to accept that kind of criticism. So I've had criticisms on the way that I put across facts in my videos. I kind of just say them in passing. Someone was like, you need to be more like rigid with your facts, and now I try to do that. And I think it takes my videos and makes them better. So I think you've always got to have in the back of your mind is, yes, this hurts. Like, why is somebody like trying to say this about me? But also, are they trying to help me?
Yeah, it just comes from a good place usually. If it's criticism and not hate.
My parents always used to say that if someone criticizes you on something, then you still have all of the power to do something with it or to just not do something with it.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't mean that if you get criticism, it doesn't mean that you have to do anything with it.
Yeah.
Which I like a lot.
Important that was just briefly touched upon was figure out where the criticism is coming from. Even if it's worded poorly, sometimes the most harsh attack can come from a place of love. And before you instinctively, are you okay? Arno?
Are we there?
Oh, Arno's having technical difficulties.
I'm here. That was weird.
Something that you should always try and do is anytime you receive any message, whether it be criticism or just a message, you will have an instinctive guttural reaction, and sometimes that might be the wrong reaction. So just take like 5 seconds if you need it, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 5 days. Just think about where the person is coming from. Think about why they've chosen to send the message, because that's an active decision to send criticism. They think they think that you should hear it, and whether or not they are correct depends upon where they're coming from, why they're sending. Figure that out and then respond to it. Case in point, I'm going to speak directly to Rebecca because she's the one who brought this entire topic up. Very recently, I put out a tweet that I thought would be harmless and funny, and she messaged me being like, yo, that's not harmless or funny. And so my instinctive reaction was to go, but I thought it was. And then I was like, she's coming from a place that is better than mine in this perspective. And so I thought about why she was saying what she was saying. I took on board what she was saying, and I took down the tweet and said, yo, I'm constantly improving. Thank you for helping me to improve. I'll do better in the future. And it was pretty dope. It was a great conversation.
Now I kind of want to know what the tweet was.
Yeah, same.
It was a forced tweet.
My love.
Well, you can't help it then.
I kind of remember that there was one that was like, why?
Yeah, Dorothy, are you
I don't
okay right
remember
now?
what
Or are you
it
just
was,
listening
though.
into this?
Pardon?
Are you just listening into this? I thought you were like saying something.
No, a good, better conversation started. So I was like, I'll postpone it another couple minutes.
Oh,
This
okay.
is when I was late to everything. I'm like, oh, this was going on.
Well, basically, it was a forced tweet. I was chatting with my friend Zaid, and we were talking during what was essentially a lecture. So how we were being mavericks and rogues. So we were just talking about, we were like joking about reclaiming images. Case in point, how the pink triangle that used to what's the word I'm looking for? It's just be an emblem of this person is gay and in a concentration camp. That was reclaimed by gay people as a symbol of pride. And we were joking about other various hate symbols that we could try and definitely fail to reclaim, because I thought that was funny. The idea of us trying and failing to do something good. I'm now explaining the joke, so it's definitely not funny. And I said the phrase to him, reclaim the swastika, and he went force tweet. And then I went, no, I shouldn't, but people will probably understand what I'm saying. Kate, they didn't understand what I was saying.
No, no one would understand what you were saying.
It was a bad tweet. It was a bad tweet.
I would have called you out on that one, Gregory.
I did.
Exactly, and you should have, and I recognise that now.
Oh,
So, there we go.
I think it's made a little bit worse by the whole, Nazis marching in the streets of America business. Yeah, that minor thing.
You always sounded American there as well.
Whoops.
America.
Greg made a mistake.
America.
Greg learned from his mistake.
From America.
That's how you deal with criticism. Woo.
Okay, now I genuinely have to go.
Bye, Dorothy.
Have fun at your party without us.
We all know that I'm probably going to get home and just cry because it's too much social interaction for me.
If you end up crying, message me and I'll laugh at you. Yeah.
If you end up crying, message me. I want to see. What?
Okay.
Live stream.
It's been lovely chatting to you all about the wonderful creative process.
And get sidetracked so many times.
Isn't that what we do?
Tangent.
Okay.
Tangents!
I'll see you all on the interwebs. Bye.
Bye. Have fun.
Have fun, have fun, have fun.
And she's dead.
Yeah, she died. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Dorothy's internet presence.
I just want you guys to, where's the camera? I just want you guys to appreciate the Triceratops that I just
That's a beautiful little Triceratops.
That's actually really good.
Well, I sketched it.
Does he have a name?
That thing. I don't know. Well, I feel like it should be a she, because, I determined that Travis, my T-Rex. Oh yeah, by the way, hang on.
Oh my god, this is an event.
What?
She's doing something.
I can't hear anything, so if you're saying something funny, please don't. Okay, now I can hear something.
We never talk about anything funny. We're all humorless, dry people.
This is Travis. This is my T-Rex boyfriend.
Oh yeah, I saw him on Twitter.
Spent way too much money on him. But there's a Triceratops in front of the Natural History Museum in Münster, and she's my girlfriend. So I kind of want this to be a portrait of her. So I need a nice name for her.
Trixie.
Bart.
Trixie is what the T-Rex in front in
the stream about creativity, because I mean, Greg.
Side note, Rebecca wants to join in the conversation because it's about creativity.
Like the hangout.
Yeah.
It used to be about creativity.
Somebody send her a link.
I'll send the link.
Everyone is talking about dinosaurs now.
Yeah, well, dinosaurs are like 90% of my creativity, branding. So I think there's 100% of my branding, seriously.
You need more dinosaurs in your branding.
Well, I'm trying.
I haven't
It's in my
seen
name.
one single video about dinosaur facts in the past.
Well, that's because the only interesting dinosaur fact I thought I knew was actually wrong. So now I'm just kind of really gutted. I thought I knew something. I thought I knew something interesting about iguanodons, but I don't because I was wrong.
That's
So I'm just gonna cry. Yeah. Well, I can make a video about how I was wrong about dinosaur trivia and how that made my heart weak.
So
I have a dino bread cutter.
I do too. Hashtag your branding.
Are you stealing my branding, Lucy? Fuck off.
Yeah. I don't even have branding myself. I'm just stealing from everyone else.
no, your branding is lettuce.
Yeah.
I'm
Honestly,
just going to do the rest of the live stream with Trevor's on my lap. I hope that's okay.
kind of offended that you're having conversations about branding without being like, yo, Greg. So,
Yo, Greg!
Your branding is branding.
Anyway,
Lucy, if you want to talk about branding
Creativity,
sometime, hit me up
creative
because your
process.
lettuce branding is
Hang
very
on,
strong.
I have a list with questions. Maybe we should check that.
Go ahead.
We also
Rebecca
have Rebecca.
Shottom.
Hi,
I don't think I know
Rebecca.
Your mic's
Rebecca's
muted.
great.
Hi.
All right, are we
Hi.
here? Hello.
Yeah,
Rebecca.
yeah.
Hi.
Amazing.
Nice to see you like in the flesh, well behind the screen, but like nice to see you moving. I honestly, I'm just gonna go out and say it. I completely first followed you on Twitter.
Oh my god! Wait, which selfies were responsible? Which selfies were responsible for this?
Oh, I don't know. I think
I should do like research.
We're Lesbian Day or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was a collection of all my best ones, so I'm glad that worked. I'm
so
honored.
no surprise that I followed you, right? But yeah, I love those.
The amount of people I've thirst followed. Oh, crikey. So yeah, creativity, hey?
Yes. I mean, for some
a creative
videos, I guess
process.
you don't really need. Sorry.
I said thirst following
Process,
can be
yes.
a creative process.
I first followed you on
Branding.
it, and I mean, that's the only reason that I'm still following you. So,
Well, I don't post a lot of selfies, so
yeah, post
I
more
just post
selfies.
that
I
one.
know,
I
too
just
bad.
post
We
that
need
one
more of this
selfie.
gorgeous face. But to be
Where
fair,
I was like-
I mean, I know. I'm not sure if I'm
The one
supposed
on
to.
your bike.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to post this, but or like share this or whatever. But the photo that I have saved as your contact picture in my phone.
Oh,
What's
come
one?
on. I love
Is
this.
this gonna be fun for me or not so fun for me?
Well, it's one of your dreadful selfies. I don't know if you want the internet.
That'll
to see
be
that.
fun for me. That's cool.
Okay. Wait.
It's
hang
not
on.
a nude, is
I
it?
should try to not show
No,
your.
it's not a nude. Don't worry.
Too bad. I'm just trying to figure this out, how not to call you accidentally, or how not to show your
Oh yeah,
Can you not
number
full screen
and
the
address.
image?
yeah. Don't do that.
Can you see that? Can you see that?
No, not at all.
Tiny.
Here, I'll replicate it.
Done with glasses.
Wait, I can fix that.
Oh my god. Hey!
Noise.
So we're
A plane.
so
Someone's
creativity.
dropping the bombs.
Anyway, creative
Yeah, sorry
process.
for that huge side tangent.
What I wanted to talk about is, I mean, obviously, some videos don't really need research because it's just talking about whatever is going on in your life or whatever. But if you do have to research something, do you research? Do you ever do research for your videos? Like, do you have to? Are the kind of topics that you choose something that you need to research something for? And if so, how? How do you research them?
Right.
And how extensive do your notes get?
I
I'm gonna close my window. I'll be right back.
That's a good plan. I feel
Good call.
I've only researched a few videos because I've only made a few videos that actually were about topics. And I feel that if you're trying to educate with your video, research it, unless it's obviously educate you about my creative process, in which case you are the research. But if you're trying to tell someone, if you're trying to make a video along the line of Sabrina, nerdy and quirky, she makes videos talking about history. And just anything like that. So like Rowan Alice as well, the history of LGBT writers, etc.
I love her video so much.
You gotta research that shit, because even if you have a degree in it, you will forget details. You'll get shit wrong. So,
and it's really important to be on the facts and those
exactly.
videos.
And so I would feel that if it's a topic of education, then research everything that you're going to talk about, and then provide the links to the sources, and then also encourage people to educate themselves further.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Question answer.
Long silence.
Yeah, for me, I mean, kind of. I mean, I don't know if you can consider it an educational video per se, but I made one, the very first one with my DSLR was horrible, about German sex ed, and obviously, I knew that from experience, how it was in my country when I went to school. So I didn't need to research that, but it was still kind of like an informational video, and then kind of went on to talk about sex education in general, what it should be and what it isn't right now, or hasn't been when I went to school. But I've also, I mean, I do a whole series on my chronic illness. So obviously I try to make like facts videos on those, which I need to research because I don't know shit apart from my own experiences. But I also just generally, I guess in terms of inspiration and like if I make like lists or advice videos that I wouldn't necessarily have to research because it's from, you know, what I can think of, I still like to get more ideas by researching, even if I don't use them.
That's a very good point. And it kind of relates to what I was about to say. So I'm currently planning on making some videos talking about superheroes because enough people have told me that I should do
Yes, that. You should. You fucking should. Oh my God.
Because there's something I'm very passionate about and I enjoy talking about them a lot.
Are you going to start with the Runaways?
Yes.
Is that the one with the dinosaur?
Yes, of course. Hello, would I be so excited about super? I do like superheroes, but
it is this one. This is Runaways Issue One, 2017. They brought it back, and on the front cover is a dinosaur. Her name is Old Lace, and she's brilliant. The second issue came out today, and I didn't buy it because I didn't have time. Anyway, the important thing is that I'm going to start making videos called "Why You Should Care About Blank." And I feel that I could go into that totally non-researched because I can just talk about what I know, my personal experience with these characters, and sort of convey my own emotions. However, I thought that a way to improve those videos would be to do some research on the history of not only the characters, but also the real world history of the writers. I figured it would be a good idea to talk about the social impact, and I can't really talk about that if I've not lived through it. Case in point, Captain America in the 1940s. And also I figured that it would just be good for me to learn more about the things that I love if I don't end up including some of this information in the video.
Yeah. It's just more knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Educate yourself.
Yeah. I don't know, Arno, do you ever research for your videos? I mean, apart from the Googleable questions one where you did research live, which was...
That was a nice one.
Wonderful.
I like that.
I like that, actually. It was such a strange idea, but it worked.
I usually don't have to. It's just kind of a different kind of content that I just make kind of, usually I make stuff that's either completely out there and doesn't have to correspond to reality. You know, like with the bananas, I can just make up facts. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's a joke video.
You can't ever make up facts.
You can absolutely make up facts.
You can't mess with banana facts.
No, but okay, but like that, like it's so obviously a joke that I can just say like 1 in 5 people have had muscle cramps because they didn't have enough bananas or some stupid thing like that. You know, that's not funny, but I could say that. The other type of content is more kind of like my own life. So I really have to research.
I think there is actually like, I don't know, I've just been trying to think whether it has anything to do with what I do, which is like not, I don't know if the like construction here is like super loud for you. I don't I could take my like fan out of my, I don't even know. Anyway, the point is, I've been trying to think about whether there's any sort of aspect of research in what I do, which for anyone who doesn't know is like short films and web series and not like talkie videos. And I think there is actually like, I mean, I normally tell stories that are relatively like close to my own experience or the experience of my friends. So it's not necessarily like finding out about like a whole other time in history or whatever, or like a whole other kind of marginalized experience. But I do like a lot of research, like narrative wise, which is interesting and which I think like more people should do when they make stuff, just because there's all kinds of like, I mean, when I started making this web series, I like watched every web series in like the same genre that I could find and like actually made like a mini documentary on them for a class and like figured out everything that had been done and how it was normally done and things that I liked and didn't like about that, so that then when I set out to make my own, I like knew exactly like in what ways I wanted to react to what already existed.
Yeah. I think in that way, kind of like what you were describing too. It sounds like you have a didgeridoo next to you or something.
Yeah, no, there's like a, I think there's construction extra. I'm gonna actually like close the window properly. One sec. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. No, but I think I do, like in a way I do research in the sense that I consume content. So it's kind of like, that's kind of like, it's for me, I really like this analogy that Tessa Violet, I don't know if you guys know her.
Of course.
Or Mika Kitty, she was Mika Kitty in the days. But Tessa Violet basically said that it's not like creativity is like a barrel that you're like reaching out of, and there's like a finite set of ideas in that barrel. But it's kind of like you consume things, and then you put things fall into the barrel from somewhere, and then sometimes you reach into the barrel and you're like, oh hey, I haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
Kind of like that analogy a lot.
It's also to bring in like another analogy about creativity onto the table, which I think Rosianna said that once, and I keep going back to that, especially now in terms of beds or whatever, like generally 30-day projects, where she said that like creativity is kind of like an old tap, where you used to have these old pipes or whatever where you turn them on and there would be a lot of gunk flowing out and like a lot of crap basically, and you have to like get the water flowing for a while until you get to the clean stuff, to the good stuff. So basically just keep creating even if you don't necessarily like your content, or if the content is not quite up to par what you want to make, but just keep creating, keep putting yourself out there, putting something out there, and the good stuff will come. And I'm definitely feeling that with VEDs and with everything, because now, I mean, I completely 100% expected to be completely drained after those 30 days. And I kind of am, because I'm really glad that I don't have to sit down and edit every day now. But I still have so many ideas. And I still, as I said before, I still have so much footage that's just sitting on my laptop waiting to be edited. And I can't wait. Seriously, so pumped.
Yeah, I had the same. After we're done.
Yeah. You said you.
I don't ever want to do daily videos.
Sorry.
Daily videos, Jesus.
Well, maybe just try.
Possible.
I
did it.
I really originally, like last year, or even at the beginning of this year, I planned to do Vlogmas. But now I really don't know if I can do it again, because I've just come out of making 30 videos. Do I really want to make another 24 during Christmas?
Christmas is a bad idea.
Yeah, especially because I'll have presentations and I'll have essays that I'll need to write, and I am working 14 hours a week, probably more in the Christmas time as well. So what I might try is make like not daily videos, but more like bi-weekly videos and call it Vlogmas, but more like a weekly vlog. Oh god.
Oh, didn't Daniel Layton, what's his name? Well, he did like
Layton,
a film as much as I can in some kind of month. You can do that.
Yeah.
I think also
film
like
as much as I can Vlogmas.
Oh my god. But I think also with that, like there is room for like there's like room for multiple different ways for your creativity to develop, and one of the ways is just like make things all the time. Don't give yourself any free minute. Just keep making stuff and keep getting better. Yeah. And like I sort of had that last year because I was just like filming, like I was on set for several hours every weekend for pretty much an entire school year, which like
but that must burn you out. So
but also,
yeah,
but exactly. But then like at the end of that year, me and a friend of mine who's like also a director but theater like went to like stay by the beach for like a week and like made ourselves not work on anything. And we were both kind of at like creative blocks with what we were working on. And we just like had a lot of long conversations about like life and like wandered around in nature. And then it sounds so cheesy, but then like the week after that, we both texted each other like, hey, just had a huge breakthrough on this project. Like we both kind of like, sometimes you need just like a pause where you're not expecting yourself to create anything to actually like let yourself grow and let ideas show up without being like, I need ideas, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so I had to take a break during vets because I mean the reason that I took a break was because I felt like shit and I needed to stop because I had pushed through some rough days before and I couldn't do that again because basically if I had made any videos it would just be like, hi, I feel like shit, I can't make a video, this is horrible, bye. So instead I just didn't make anything for a couple of days. After that it was really, really hard to pick it up again because it felt like, okay, now I have to do the same shit that I just did for 14 days and I'm feeling slightly better but not good enough to be up for this challenge. But I just went for it. And I mean, I don't necessarily like the first 2 or 3 videos I did after the break. Actually, did I definitely didn't like the first 2, but I still kept at it and then just came back again. But on the other hand, that break was also really necessary and helpful, and it wouldn't have served anyone, neither me as a creator or you or anybody else as the viewers, if I had just pushed through that.
You also like don't, I think it's like, I'm just trying to realize this, like you don't have to share everything that you make. And like it can be good, especially, I don't know if you have been following like the thing that Rowan's been going through in relation to like other kinds of creativity. Like it can be very hard if there's one thing that you're good at and that you're getting good reception for, to like hold on to other things that you want to do. And just like to like let yourself do things that are not like
that fall out of that box, basically.
I think it's really hard, like that whole thing with having a niche. I feel like channels that do have a niche generally do better, like in terms of subscribers or activity, because people know what to expect. But I refuse to be put into any kind of box. I want to make the shit I want to make. And if that's travel videos, like just atmospheric cuts of my footage of a place that I went to, or like some thoughts I might have to that kind of place, like thoughts from places, kind of Vlog Brothers style, or a food diary the next, or just a talkie vlog the next, or a video about IBD or feminism or cruelty-free beauty or something. I do not want to just stick to one thing or like 2 or 3 things. I want to make everything I want to make. And that might mean that my channel is just going to be a huge mess in terms of content. But as long as it's something that I can stand behind and I do it with passion and I like doing it, I think that's okay. Bam!
Before I head to the kitchen because I'm hungry, I think there is a difference between describing a channel as having a niche and a channel as being a show. I think that a channel can have a niche and not grow like at all. However, if that niche is presented
going on?
Someone's trying to murder.
I just kind of want to know whose video that was in. Like,
I think that was just like a really. What sound did you hear? Like, I live in a city. I don't know. There are motorcycles. Like, this is America.
Motorcycles. They are not good. But
anyway,
this is a bustling city in Connecticut.
You can present something as a format, a structured show, and do it regularly, and you will grow, even if it fits into a niche. Having a niche in itself is not inherent to growth. However, I also think that trying to predict the algorithm and success on this platform is really inherently difficult and largely bullshit. Okay, thank you, bye.
Get your food.
Bye.
I completely, now I feel like I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's just kind of like,
I do.
Our mentor is gone.
I do have some thoughts about the like niche thing, partly just because like I mean, I like have a very specific niche. I mean, like it's on like all of my channel things are like I make cute gay short films, which is like what I do.
Sorry, you do what?
Cute gay short films.
Cool.
Gay.
Which yeah, that's what we do. But it definitely like I have on several different occasions wanted to do other stuff, and actually recently I almost like started a second channel and made sort of like weird cool montagey stuff, or like I wanted to do all these projects like filming my friends and things, and I like actually ended up ditching that idea. There's still one like semi 1 second everyday thing that I might post just for the hell of it, but like I realized that if I did all of those projects, I would be taking energy away from making the films that are like really important to me and that I feel like are actually doing something.
But
and
that's not necessary.
I would rather, but like in terms of like, since I'm working on like 500 different projects at once, I know that if I added on to it, like I'm going to try to make some other kinds of videos, like that would mean that I wouldn't have as much like emotional or creative energy to invest towards the stuff that is actually like the point or whatever. But I don't know, it's a different situation. Like I think kind of like with Rowan's channel where it's very like she is doing something really important, and so I can understand why she wouldn't want to do like a here's how my day was today kind of video, since she makes like really amazing like feminist and activist and like queer videos, like to diverge from that, even if she really wanted to make a cool video about her day, like
I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would too, but I can also understand why she wouldn't want to devote her energy to making something like that.
Yeah, I think she actually got some hate, or like I don't know if you could call it hate, but like criticism, hate, something, on Twitter and YouTube because the time between her uploads was so long, and people were like, "Oh my god, where's that video? When's that video coming? When's that video coming?" It's just like, do you have any idea how much research goes into her videos?
Oh my God,
Jesus fucking Christ. They're pretty much academic essays in video form.
Interesting thing about Rowan.
And up to that standard. That was a very German way to say that.
Interesting thing about Rowan is that she's currently taking a creative break because she
she is
a bit of a thing. And
I haven't watched that video where she explained that yet, but I really want to.
It's really worth watching. And it is kind of like a
because she wants to reevaluate what she's doing and how she's doing it, and
props to her, seriously.
And how it relates to her anxiety. So maybe take a watch and consider how you approach your own creativity in your own life.
What I really realized, speaking of creativity and being kind of emotionally drained, is that for a couple of weeks I kind of made very personal kind of stuff that was only talking about how I was feeling, how I was doing. Couple weeks in a row, and that's kind of why I went to the complete opposite of the spectrum of my past video with the banana one, because I realized that I need some jokey and non-serious and silly videos to kind of balance out the more serious and kind of almost existential kind of videos where I'm like, otherwise it just, I don't want to make any videos anymore if it's always serious and heavy, It's like I can't be bothered anymore. Kind of left you,
I think that's kind of. Sorry, Lucy.
It's just good fun. Like I'm always trying to say like small things, but they don't really matter. But anyway, that
go ahead.
That I don't really like watching personal videos most of the time. So
you don't, or you do?
Don't.
Okay.
And that sounds kind of like mean, but
I
don't know. They usually come at like the wrong time for me, and then I'm like, I don't really want to watch that.
I've recently unsubscribed from a shit ton of people because I realized that I just didn't care about their life. Like, they're lovely people.
That's fair enough.
And I enjoy talking to them. And even if I don't know them, I enjoy their demeanor. Case in point, Melanie Murphy.
Yeah.
I realized that she's brilliant and lovely, and I'm sure like she's talented and entertaining, and I still follow her on Twitter, but I just don't care enough about the topics she wants to talk about and the way she wants to talk about them.
I also like defend Ariel Scarcella, so. But I also had no investment in her before that. But I was just like, we're gonna not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much that situation developed. So like, I but I didn't know her at the time, so I was like, I guess I won't make an attempt to. But like, that's just that one specific example.
People
She's
are problematic.
problematic.
No
Yes.
one is not problematic. Blah blah
No,
blah.
I think it's fair enough. It's completely fair enough to just unsubscribe from people whose content you just don't enjoy anymore. Even if they're
Even if
friends.
you
I mean,
like
I'm
them.
subscribed. Sorry.
Even if you like them
Even
as a
if you-
person.
Yeah, and even if you like friends, actually. I mean,
Even if you're best mates.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't be
Even if
like,
you
yeah,
love
well,
us.
I don't like your videos, mate. At least not like that. I would probably have a chat like, it's just not my thing, the kind of stuff you make, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, I follow so many people on Twitter, like Evan Edinger,
Yeah.
and just there are so many others, but like a bunch of people whose video content I just don't enjoy anymore, but they're lovely people, so I just follow them on Twitter instead, because I still want to know what they're up to. I still want to read their funny tweets, but I just can't be bothered with the YouTube videos, and that's fine. It's just up to people's tastes.
I also sometimes have phases where I like watch a lot of one channel. Like, for example, Rooster Teeth is one of those channels that I used to like watch a lot, and then I didn't, and then I started again, and then I didn't again. I don't know why, but sometimes you're just like, I don't want it anymore, you know?
And also with like personal videos, like specifically, I think that sometimes those can be especially difficult, like especially if it's like someone's raising awareness about something that you like actually also have, and they're raising awareness by talking about how hard it is, and you're like, I don't need to watch that.
But also, on the other hand, it can also really help to see that someone is struggling with the same thing.
It depends where you're at in relation to it. I think.
Absolutely.
But there was definitely like a time when I was having like a lot of bad mental health days, and it seemed like every video on YouTube was like, guess who's having a bad mental health day? And I was like, I mean, and also like with that, I think that there is something that can happen sometimes where like you follow someone because of a certain kind of thing that they do, like because they make videos about a certain topic that you're really interested in, or they give you advice on this thing, and then kind of over time they realize that a lot of the people who like them just like their personality. So I've seen a number of people sort of shift more towards making videos like, here's what's going on in my life, instead of like, here's me talking about this topic.
Like, honestly,
I think actually
sorry.
Yeah,
I love
go on. No, you go.
Okay.
Fight.
Difficult. I love Sana's video, like books and quills, but I don't like her booktube stuff that much, and there's like 90% of her videos. I live for her advice and travel videos, like all of the other shit that's like 10% of her content. I live for that shit. Couldn't really care less about about the booktube stuff.
Genres or topics that any of us just don't watch, even when people might expect we watch them?
No, I watch a mix of everything. I can't really be bothered with like daily vlogs or travel vlogs anymore, because it's just they're so I just can't be bothered with long form content. Anything above 10 minutes and I'm out.
What
I can't watch too much like ranty videos. Like I don't mind one ranty video or like two, but like if it's too often, I'm like, oh, this is like, no, you know, it's too much. It's like
with mental health stuff.
Yeah,
like 1 or 2 videos. If one of you uploads like a mental health video, I'll watch it because it's like once in a while. But if it's like a channel with only like, this is my mental illness, I'll like immediately go, nope, that's not for me. No, I don't like watching that. And
so I guess that's the bad part of the niche, eh?
Yeah.
So I don't know how to word this. So I'm subscribed to Rowan, right? Yeah. Because at this point, who isn't?
I'm not.
I'm not either.
I've never actually seen a video of hers.
Oh, you good, Arno.
He's really wonderful.
She's great.
Like one of my
Why is Arno the only one being targeted here?
Because we all hate Arno, and we're just using this as an
yeah,
but like
true.
for real, Rowan is like doing amazing things with YouTube and does not get appreciated enough, and is amazing, and like is genuinely a really incredible activist, and really, you know, amazing in like many ways. So yeah, you know, go watch her do that.
Check her out, she's great. So I'm subscribed to her. I'm going to totally undermine what I've just said. Check her out, she's great. Now on to why I don't watch much of what she makes.
I haven't watched.
I watch the occasional things, and I'm subscribed so that anytime anything pops up, I can be like, shall I watch that? But like, I watched the one which was LGBT writers because I'm interested in writing. Just if it's something I either already know about, don't care to learn more about, or just, I've already watched 15 videos today, I will just be like, you know what, nah. And I find that a lot of my friends are like, oh, so who else do you watch in terms of like LGBT YouTube? And I'm like, literally nobody.
Yeah.
Because as someone who's LGBT myself, people can be like, oh, so you probably want to hear people talk about their
experiences or
yeah. And I'm like, so I'm asexual. Hi. I have never once searched.
Well,
I've never once searched asexuality because I know that all of the results will just be my coming out story. People don't talk about me enough. Blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I've lived that experience.
Yeah. So what kind of videos would you
what's
look
going to happen when there is an asexuality live stream?
I'm gonna host it. Yeah.
Hypocrisy? Question mark? You're going to tell us your coming out story?
Super tangent, but I just want to say, like, I mean, it's not a tangent because it's about demisexuality, but like a couple of years back, I talked to my ex, then kind of sort of boyfriend, and I was like, I kind of feel like I'm a little bit asexual, and he was just like ripping me a new one, being like, there's no such thing as just a little bit asexual. You either are or you aren't. And then just a couple of years later, I was like, hi, demisexuality, hi. And I talked to him about that like a couple of weeks ago.
What is going on?
Listen, I live in
being
a
attacked
city.
right now? Like,
do you need to evacuate?
There have been a lot of
probably
fires
enable push to
recently.
talk.
There's a fire truck. It's is this like weird? Like, do you not like just have traffic sounds in your
No, we
houses?
live in the country.
Oh my god, that's
I
so
live in the
weird.
city.
What is this? I live in the city too. I live in Amsterdam.
I live in a very small city.
Amsterdam is my city.
I mean, I live in Connecticut, so like
That's very litty.
just a fire truck. We're having an interesting conversation about demisexuality, which I was into. Please continue.
Yeah. Sorry. So I was just, I just kind of, recently talked to him again, and I was just like, do you remember that? Do you remember that conversation when you made me feel really, really bad about not really being sure how to identify, because asexuality doesn't really fit me, but neither does I don't know, the rest. So. Do you feel horrible for making me feel horrible? Because I hope you do, and he did, so that's good.
Revenge.
Just to contradict what Greg said, there are some great videos on demisexuality. I don't know if you know Christy Kerr.
No, how do you?
I followed her 500 years ago because she made this video that was like, "Am I demisexual?" And I was like, and so then I followed her, and now we're actually friends, which is great. I'm gonna put her name in the chat.
Are you demisexual
Put it in the
too?
chat. Yeah. I don't talk about it a lot because I feel like this is a whole other conversation, but I feel like it's simpler for people if I'm it's kind of like the niche thing. It's like people can understand, I'm gay. I make movies about people who are gay. I'm gay, but also I'm demisexual is what do you do with that?
When I try to explain it to people that you're not sexually attracted to people before you have an emotional bond with them, they're like, okay, so you're just not a slut. Okay, cool. And I was just first off, what? Second off, fuck off.
Yeah, it's a very specific and interesting kind of thing, in relation to even asexuality, because some people are just, and I sometimes believe it too. Someone will be like, isn't that just how attraction is supposed to work? And I'll be like, you're right, because that's the only way it works. I don't know. Nothing makes sense.
Yes.
Please be on the live stream if Greg ever does end up doing it, which he has been talking about for hours.
I've been talking about it for ages because one was planned, and then the person who was planning it said, "I'm going to put this on hold until I've made a video about it."
Gotcha.
That sucks.
And I don't want to just
It could be a multi-part thing. You could wait for them. You could let them know, hey, I want to do one, and then when you've done the thing, we can do another one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we're gonna exhaust the topic in just one live stream. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it'll take 15 minutes. We'll cover the entire ace and arrow spectrum.
Yeah, and we'll just
I'll get
have a quick chat.
Anyway, maybe we should go back to creativity.
Yes, right, creativity. I also put Christy in the description. You should go and look at her. She's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll look her up. I put her down on my notes next to the name.
Where'd you put her? Oh, there you go. Christy Kerr.
Yeah.
I thought you put it in the Google Hangout.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. Anyway, what were we talking about before we just ended up talking about asexuality? I don't
I have
remember.
no idea.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Greg.
Greg does not watch
wanting to watch
LGBT
coming
videos.
out videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real.
And how that relates to creativity, I should sort of probably have an addendum to that, is that you don't have to watch everything. You can totally just sit in your own little, not bubble, but you can totally just have a good time and not feel pressured to participate in certain cultures just because everyone else is, because that can lead to creative crises and feeling like you're not good enough. And if the message of the internet right now is that you are hashtag Nathan Z good enough, then
Confession, I still have to watch that video.
It's not that
I
good.
have yet to watch it.
No, really.
God.
No, really. Like,
but that's the point. Kind of, I guess.
I watched them recently. He made two. One was on the Vlogbrothers channel, and one was on his own, like talking about post and pre, getting that good enough message out there. And like, as videos, they're really standard Nathan Z videos, which I should clarify, Nathan Z is incredible, and all of his videos have like a baseline of really good. But the videos themselves aren't what everyone's making a big deal over. It's the message, and the t-shirt conveys the message. So don't feel like you're missing out if you've not seen the video, because the t-shirt is everything.
Cool. Also, like,
I really want one, but money.
Yeah, right.
Same.
Shipping costs.
Yeah. Also about like watching like what you don't watch. I guess like I don't really watch short films. On YouTube, which is interesting.
Is this YouTube anonymous?
No, but like I mean, there are a few that I do watch. Like I have one person who I've like made friends with who like makes stuff that is kind of thinking along the same lines of what I'm thinking. But like a lot of times, I mean, and there are some people like people that I know from elsewhere. I'll watch their stuff, but I don't like go and like follow like YouTube filmmakers or like go and seek out films. Partly because like. And I guess the message of that is like you don't have to like watch stuff that's like what you make in every way if you don't feel like it, especially because like sometimes I have like what I do and what I care about has more resonance with videos like Rowan's videos about like queer representation in media than it does with like some guy making a film about like a spy heist drama gun thing that's like a short film and on YouTube, you know.
Well, I think inspiration can come from anywhere anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Absolutely.
But like, I mean, you don't have to be like, oh, I do this, therefore I am required to watch this.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's the word that this entire conversation hinges upon, required. You are not required to participate in culture to be a part of that culture. That's my statement.
Absolutely. Anyway, I really gotta pee, so you can enjoy it, Travis, for a second.
Thank you very much. Don't hurt yourself. Have a good time. Oh my god, you immediately did something wrong.
Okay, she died. All right.
Wow.
Bye. No.
Brilliant.
I'm just gonna go hang myself now, accidentally. Jeez.
Yeah,
Oh,
take your headphones out. So there we go. Right.
All right, I wanna talk about something that Andrew Huang, again, I'll plug in because he makes cool stuff. He talked about finishing stuff. So being a creative person isn't just having ideas and like making them, but actually finishing it and actually deciding, all right, now it's done. It's not perfect, but it's done. So how do you guys feel about that? Kind of the when is it finished? And when
I have a lot of thoughts on that. I will
perfect enough, good enough.
Because I will go on a rant.
All right.
So anyone else?
I have like a lot of thoughts on this also, and I'm worried because I feel like they might be kind of controversial.
Ooh,
but I guess
no. Go on, Rebecca.
I guess like at least, and this is part of why I haven't been able to but this is part of why I haven't been able to, at least for me and the way that I think about creativity, why Creative Scatty has not been a very successful place for me. Like why I keep trying to go and then being like, I don't know, is that like, I have trouble when I'm in a situation where I feel like we're thinking a lot about the process, but we're not necessarily like doing things. And I can understand the value of thinking about the process, but I think like for me, I found so much that like the people that I have the most interesting conversations about like art things with are people who I know are making those things and are going to where it's going to happen, and where we're not talking about like what would it be like if we made this, or like, but it's like, oh, I made this like a few months ago and it was really interesting and I want to do this kind of different thing in the next thing that I make, and kind of like thinking about it more practically, I guess, than in the abstract. Like I have a few friends who like here, not on YouTube or anything, but who will be like, we'll talk for ages about this project that they're thinking of doing, and then like it'll never happen. And it's always so kind of sad, and especially when like they tell me about the next project and I know that they aren't going to do it, and it's like I want them to do it, you know. But I think that, and especially when like they're talking about their thing that they're never going to do and I'm talking about the thing that I like just did or like am actually progressing on, it's sort of this weird imbalance that can be hard to deal with, I guess.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
We're talking about finishing things, basically.
Oh,
finishing
boy.
and the creative process, and actually not just like talking about it, but also actually finishing it.
Especially in relation to Creative Scatty, which I'm about to provide comment upon as one of the team leaders.
Yes.
Sorry.
Like wait, okay, but before you put my comment, I do want to say that this is like specifically like the kinds of conversations that I could feel it leading me into in relation to like where I am creatively and what my like goals and interests are. So it's not like it's not a good place, but just like I don't.
That's cool.
But it can be a personal thing, right? Like personally, you.
But okay, but go ahead.
So basically, your entire sentiment has been recognized, and Fran was also feeling the same thing.
Interesting.
So something we've been talking about a little bit behind the scenes, and something we're trying to implement over time, is essentially to stop being a safe space, if you want to put it in that way, and to start actually holding people fucking accountable for their work. Because like otherwise it will just end up as like this weird space like Alcoholics Anonymous, where we just go, yay, well done you for trying. And what we actually want to do is get people to create more. And so we have created these documents where we're tracking people's work, and if they say they have a goal, we get them to do it. We get them to write down what they want to do and when they want to do it by, and we chase people up. And that sounds intimidating. However, as
that really sounds fucking intimidating.
Yeah,
no, that's
which is why it's totally optional. It's totally optional.
I think those two things can coexist, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends what you need or what you
exactly.
want.
So it's completely like, do you feel like, Rebecca, you just said you feel that you would just sort of not flourish in an environment that's just supportive? In that case, tell us what you want to do, when you want to do it by, and we will kick your ass.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, it depends where you're at. Like, because I think that some people like don't even need, like, they will do it. Like, and they want to talk about like creative stuff from the point of view of people who are actually like, where it's not like, how do I find motivation to do this? How do I make myself do it? It's like, okay, I'm doing it. Like, where is it coming from? Or just like, or, you know, just sort of thinking around like what kinds of themes am I returning to? Like, why? Like, in what ways can I improve the representation in my work? Or like, what is sort of talking about other things other than just like, I want to make more stuff. How can I get myself to do it? Like, if you are making this stuff, then there are other questions that you can ask after that are also interesting to incorporate.
Yes. I realize I'm going kind of on about Creative Scatty, but it doesn't.
No, please.
And that's what Creative Share is all about. Every now and again, we have a session called Creative Share, which is for literally just sharing anything you want to. You put a link to something you've made. You maybe share a work in progress. You maybe share something you've never shared with anyone before. The point is, you put out your art into this group chat, and everyone will comment on it. And the point of that is not that you simply share your work and there it is, can you please add to its view count? It's more about like actually deconstructing it, applying criticism and really building people up for what they've done. And I believe that's really valuable. However, as with all things, you get out what you put in. And so whilst we can try and help to improve the environment, if you want people to engage with your work, then ask them to. Case in point, Ben, he needed help with a specific area of a video he made. And so he just sent me like the rough cut and said, yo, tell me what you think about this specific thing. And I did. And so that's one way of avoiding the well done for creating environment that you might be afraid of. So,
yeah, it's true. I also like that kind of thing sounds a lot more practical, which is really nice too, because it can also actually be like not scary just because you're like, I don't want people to criticize my work, but also like if this is something that you wouldn't plan to change, maybe like for a future video you would improve on it, but like if there's some central aspect of your video that someone's like, I don't know about that, like maybe change it, it's like not productive and also can make you be like, what? No, but I was just gonna make this video and now what do I do? So it's like but like if you have specific things that you need specific advice on, like that's super helpful. And less kind of abstract, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sort of, I suppose the message of that is if you want specific help, ask a specific question.
Yeah.
But also the topic that we're kind of currently on is creating versus like publishing, I guess you could say, and where you put the value in publishing work. And this was something I was talking about with my writing society earlier today, in fact.
A writing society.
Yeah, it's very
pretentious.
Sorry. For a university.
Society?
It's literally a university society where we meet up and read things and then go to the bar afterwards.
Isn't that just like class?
We read things aloud that we've written rather than just like sitting and reading a book. So, and what we were chatting about was the value you put in publishing and the fear you can have from going from work in progress to published work, because you might want to go back and edit it. You might want to do a George Lucas and go back to your published work and re-edit it and keep going, and eventually you'll ruin it.
And replace everything with walkie-talkies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
And so something that I want to sort of say on that topic is I never edit my work once it's published. Never, ever, ever. I make a rule against going back and looking on something I've already made and thinking, I could do this. I'm going to do it. I always... Sorry?
No, sorry. I thought you were done. Go on.
Okay. I always consider what I've done wrong, what I could maybe improve and blah, blah, blah. And then I apply that to my next piece of work because I believe that your
what's done is done.
Yeah, your work is a timeline of your growth, and to try and go back and edit that would be to do a disservice to where you were at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have something
kind
to
of
say
in the
about
same
that.
line.
Go for it.
I was actually sorry.
I was going to say about you, I know.
Yeah, we were actually talking about. I was going to say like we were actually talking about this because Lucy and I we were saying like she deleted a video that I thought was very funny about her like, green. She basically had a green wall and she just had like the worst.
The green screen video. You deleted that?
No. Anyway.
Well, it's private. It's not gone, but
I love that.
Anyway, and I was saying like I never private or deleted or haven't at least deleted a video, and I don't want to because I think exactly what you were saying, Greg, that it's a timeline of growth, and it feels like removing something is kind of like it's sad to, because I think for me it's also kind of a time capsule to YouTube. And
I mean, if you've privated it, you could still look at it.
That's true. That's true.
There's one video that I privated.
Who's so awkward about it?
I hope I'm not just interrupting, but yes, there's one video I privated because I didn't really like it at the time when I made it, when I uploaded it. people didn't like it, which shouldn't factor in what I keep online, but whatever, it does sometimes. Yeah, I didn't like it when I made it. People didn't like it, and I don't like it looking back at it now. So it just kind of made me like, some old videos generally made me cringe, but I just,
what was it about?
It was a really long video about shit, what was the title? Like something about like, yeah,
Bananas.
how to take care of yourself, I guess, when you're not feeling well. But it just turned into this whole rant, or well, not rant, but like ramble about how to try to be kinder to yourself and kind of self-care-ish, but just in a really bad way. And I didn't really have a point, and it went on for 20 minutes because I didn't know back then how to actually fucking shorten video, like how to yeah, how to edit it in a way that it would be fucking shorter and not just keeping everything in. So I really didn't like that video, and I don't like it from like today's standpoint. So I just privated it. It's still there. I could still watch it, or I could still republish it, although everybody would just get a notification in their subbox about it, which would be kind of embarrassing because I didn't like it. That's the thing. Sometimes I wish you could just subtly unprivate videos again, that they would just stay at the published date. Well, I mean, they stay at the published date, but they like pop up into people's subbox again when you unprivate them.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. And I really don't.
Oh my god! I just republished. Fucking
brilliant! We can all get to see it.
Oh
my god!
Oh my god! I'm gonna
also with
just
that
dislike it.
It's amazing.
Oh my god! But with like, I also think that it is worth saying that like, even if everyone else you show something to is like, this is great, you should publish it, and like you don't like it for whatever reason, like you don't have to. I mean, there's this film that like has been haunting me, that like I have this bad thing where I like, I'm like, hey, I'm making this film on Twitter like before I'm done making it, and then I get so stressed out. But I posted these like behind the scenes photos, and I was like, it's gonna be this, like this is the name of the movie, this is when we're filming, da 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 da. And like people were like, oh my god, this movie, and like I had friends asking me like, when is this happening? And then I like made it and like had a lot of issues with it. Like partly because I made it for a class that I wasn't totally comfortable in, and I feel like that made me shape the story in a way that was not how I would have wanted to tell it, and was even kind of like not a good portrayal of a queer relationship. So I was like, this is not good. And like my other friends like, and queer people and whatever, like saw it and were like, yeah, this is great, like I think you should post it. And I was like, nope.
Nope, not happening.
And I mean, like obviously like it sucks for the actors who were like gonna get to be in this thing that was on the internet, and now they're not, and I want to try to work with them again at some point soon. But I also think that it is valuable that like, even though it is a growth process, like if there are steps along the way that you don't think are worth sharing with people, you can just grow from them and like not share them. Like not everything you make has to be like, here you go, here it is.
There's one poem. It's not really a poem, but it's sort of a poem. I don't know what else to call it because it's not, whatever. It's something.
Poem has no
something
definition. It's a poem.
Okay, fine. It's a poem.
Thanks, Writers Society.
It's a poem that I actually sent to Greg when he was drunk a couple of weeks back, and he promised to read it, and he never did.
I'm sorry. I was wasted.
You were.
Think responsibly.
I feel so insecure about it because I'm not a poet. I'm not good at poetry. I'm not good with words. And I feel like it's an unfinished piece, but I've been working on this for 2 years. And it's just not getting any better. So it's either this.
Send it me? Is it on WhatsApp or is it on Twitter?
It's on Twitter.
Okay.
So have fun scrolling through that, because I don't think Twitter chat has a search function, does it?
Really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
I think you can find it through like, I found a really old tweet of.
Not
okay. Whatever. Never mind. It's this one. I even have a video for it in mind, and I've had that video in mind for a year. But I don't know if I'm ever gonna make that. Thank you, random car.
It's Connecticut. It's Connecticut for you.
I mean, you guys are so lucky that I'm not in New York, which is where I often am. Like, it's much worse there. This is nothing. I just
No, it's just funny because it's not all the time. It's like random.
Like,
you know? It's funny. Like,
yeah, like I don't even notice. I don't. Oh my
yeah.
god! Do you like not have streets in the UK?
Nope.
No, we exist entirely
Just
in
horses.
fields.
I was
there's
just
only
gonna say
one
we, like I
person
live
in the UK
I
right
don't.
now. There's only one person in the UK of this
We
whole
do.
life.
True.
That makes a lot of
You're
sense.
outnumbered.
Yeah.
But Europeans are like winning by a
Europeans.
landslide.
Hey.
That's true. Sorry, do you not have roads in
Anyway.
Europe? Please continue.
No, yeah, the thing is,
I know about the poem.
I really want to make it. I feel like it's this project that's been a part of me for so long, but I don't know if I should put it online. I don't know if I want to put it online. I don't know if feeling insecure about it is what should stop me from putting it online, because on the other hand, it's something that I did, and maybe it's not as bad as I think. Maybe it's interesting. Maybe it's interesting to see how I saw myself those 2 years ago when I started writing it.
Why don't you put that in the video then?
Yeah.
It depends. Like,
It's like the.
I think like explaining the
video.
poem and explaining my process would kind of ruin the poem.
I don't know, maybe
Like,
it
I
adds to
can't
it.
find it, and I'm very upset.
it also
No,
like,
it was ages ago, Greg. It was ages.
oh my
I mean,
God.
if you want to, I can just send it to you on WhatsApp now.
Yeah, do that.
It also like depends what your insecurity is coming from. Like if it's from like I want to share this with people, but like I don't know if they'll like it, then like
I just feel like it sucks.
maybe do it.
Yeah, maybe just make the
But,
video
like,
and then
Yeah.
see what happens. If you still like it, and
And if like the ways in which it's potentially not good, like are not like ways that are very deep, you know, maybe it's just like, oh, people don't think that like the line breaks are at appropriate places. Like you'll live, you know. But I mean, if you think that it's bad in ways that like you don't feel good about.
want to put it out.
All right. So my
Then
thing
that-
with poetry and like with creating texts that are like, well, poetic in general is that I feel like I'm trying to be something I'm not, because I'm not into poetry. I don't get metaphors, people. I just don't. I like poems if they're nice and if I can like understand them, but as soon as people try to explain like the different levels to me, I'm a fucking literature student. I should know this. Like I should be able to analyze poems, mate. But I'm just not. And creating poems then just kind of feels like I'm trying to access this thing, like this whole world of metaphors and similes, and
You feel like a
poetry
fish
that
out of the water. I get it.
yeah, completely. And I really like I don't know if you've watched all of you have watched my Veds videos, but Veds videos is kind of redundant. Anyway, my Please Understand Me video, which was not a poem, it wasn't an essay or whatever, but I really like that format in a way. Because I thought about what I was saying, and I don't know, I really like that video.
It was artistic.
I would consider it kind of a poem. What's the definition
maybe
of a poem?
Yeah, I mean
There
the
isn't
definition
one.
is vague as fuck
Poems
because
don't have definitions. It's just bullshit. It doesn't exist. It's a poem
Yeah.
if you call it a poem.
So this live stream is a poem.
probably yeah.
Ooh.
You could easily make blackout poetry out of a transcript of this live stream.
You could.
Yeah, but then you need to. So
Why
then you
would
do need to
anyone
write it down. So hence, it does have to have a form.
Well, I mean, unless
All right,
it's spoken
dickhead,
word
listen up.
poetry.
Hey, gotcha.
Just
I
imagine
think
anyone
this kind of
typing
veers
this.
into. Okay, sorry, Greg, it took me a while, but I just found it. But please do
That's
not
cool.
read it out.
I'm gonna read it out. I'll read it in my own time after the stream.
Cool. Okay.
Um,
I'll just copy and paste it.
Cool. So you mentioned something really, really interesting about feeling like essentially a fraud or an imposter, or that you're just in a world that you don't feel a part of. And I think that I certainly feel that, and I think that on at least some level, every creative person has felt that. and whether it be due to education level or the kind of people you associate with, or just experience, we all feel like we're not quite a part of the world we're trying to be a part of. And I don't really have an incredible amount of advice on ways to deal with that. I just have a couple of things to say, which are, one, don't fucking worry about it. Life is too short. If you want to create something and put it out there, then that's fine, because even if some snob comes along and says, actually, blah, 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 this isn't real poetry or this isn't real music, then fuck away, because you're still contributing to you're still contributing to the wider cultural space, and some of the greatest revolutions in art have come from someone who either intentionally went against all of the rules, or someone who didn't know what the heck they were doing and accidentally invented something new.
I think actually what I'm most afraid of like putting that out there.
Yeah,
Sorry?
good point, by the way. I love how romantic that was, Greg.
Oh, I'm the most romantic artist you'll ever meet.
Anyway, sorry, Danny, I totally interrupted.
That laugh.
It's fine. I'm here for the funny laugh. Yeah, I think what. Sorry.
What were
No,
you
nothing.
saying?
Nervous laughter.
Go.
Just keep talking, Danny.
I'll just keep. I just won't give a shit about whatever you're doing. I think what I'm most afraid of is like not necessarily strangers' opinions, because I've dealt with like proper hate before and I've been fine. What I want to do though is like impress or make friends proud of me.
I feel
so
that.
I think that's the hardest part, like knowing that my friends, like pretty much the people on this live stream, will watch it and maybe not like it and maybe think, well, it was good, you tried, TM, but yeah, and that's it.
That's fair. No, I get that. And I think that everyone here and everyone else that we're friends with on Twitter will have felt that in some way at some point.
Yeah.
Specifically, if we're going to just go with like examples. So I really enjoy graphic design. I enjoy graphic design.
You don't know what.
Hey, you could have pulled that off with like this British accent.
I enjoy graphic design, darling.
Greg, 4th Street, please.
Fucking all right. I really enjoy graphic design.
We're really like butchering the concept of 4th Street.
I enjoy graphic design and I enjoy thinking about hashtag branding TM. And I have a little bit of...
Still laughing.
Fine. That's and I have a little bit of experience with it. However, I've not been formally educated. I haven't had much practical experience. I'm just an amateur enjoying what he's doing. And because I have friends who are literally professionals in that area, I'm constantly afraid that they're going to be thinking, just like even subconsciously in the back of their head, like, God, what a twat Greg is, trying to be like something he's not, and like stepping on my area or just like overstepping his own bounds. And I don't want to be that guy who's like, God, look at me, I'm great at doing this, when in reality there are people out there who are better than me, have been training their life to do this thing, and perhaps aren't getting as much attention or whatever. So I definitely feel that. I felt that with my graphic design, I felt that with my poetry, I felt that with my video making, and it's one of the main reasons I don't branch out into other areas, is because I'm afraid of people judging me for not being automatically good at something, which is stupid, I know, but it still exists.
But I think that artistic projects are always kind of you have kind of the audacity to believe that people are actually interested in what you have to put out there.
It's become a therapy session.
You know?
I think like also related to that, just because like I've been on both sides of that, I guess, and that like there's some forms of art stuff that I do, again, like not really online, where like I know other people, like music, I do like play guitar and sing and stuff, but I never do that on the internet because I'm like, I know people who are like actual musicians, which is a whole other thing. But like from the other side of that, I'm not like super professionally trained in filmmaking, but I have been studying it for a super long time, and I've been getting practice for a really long time. So like I've been in the situation in relation to people where like they've made films and they've been like kind of scared for me to watch them because like I know all of this technical stuff. But like coming from the other side of that, I'm not like, oh my God, how dare they make a film? Or like, oh wow. Like often I'll be like, oh, hey, look, the light is kind of yellow there. But I won't be like, oh my God, they made a film with yellow light and put it online. Because I used to make films with really yellow light. Like I think that like it's easy to see like where people have ended up at and sort of imagine that they will immediately compare you. Whereas like normally when I watch like a film that a friend has made, especially, like I don't pay attention to like the camera being shaky or like it being less technically whatever in some way, and more just to like, oh wow, they had this really cool story, or like this was a thing that was good, or that was a thing that was good. And sometimes I can pick up on things that they're doing that are good because of like what I know about film, but like not, you know.
But I've
like,
noticed that in general, like you're your worst critic, and other people will never judge you as harshly as you think that they might, because they don't really care too much.
Well, about that, I mean, yes, I agree, but also like part of me, like I can be a judgmental bitch just because my example is my ex. And I love him dearly. He's a great person, sort of, sometimes. But he can't sing for shit. And he should know that, because I keep telling him. Like I'm not one of those friends that's like, yeah, that's wonderful. You're such a great singer. Please do more music. But like literally every time he opens his mouth to sing, I cringe. Because it's so bad. And I'm sorry if he's ever watching this, like catching up on this live stream, but it's not like I've not told him like to his face. But I'm just worried that I'm like that. Like that I'm the sucky friend. And that people, for the best of whatever's in their heart, could not say anything nice about what I'm making. And that's just terrifying.
But it's also like, I mean, one thing people don't talk about that much is that every art form is something that you can learn and grow at. Like even singing, I mean, when I was a very small child, a friend of mine said that my singing sounded really terrible. And I was like, and like I didn't sing after that. Like I started lip syncing Happy Birthday because I didn't want to sing around people. I still do that, actually. I can't do, like, I have so much anxiety around singing, but at some point I was taking guitar lessons and my teacher was like, hey, you should try singing while you play guitar. And I was like no. And then he was like, and then the next week he was like, what if you tried singing this song? And I was like, okay. And like now I like, you know, sing, play guitar around my friends, whatever. But like that, like I probably was bad at singing when my friend told me that I was bad at singing all of that time ago. But it's also like the fact of not being good at something at a time does not necessarily mean that like you can never enjoy it, or you shouldn't try to grow at it, or you can't do it.
I'm really, really, really bad at sucking at things.
I think he's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
One of the most tragic things I have ever heard in my life is what you just said right now about lip syncing Happy Birthday. I cannot, for the life of me, imagine a more tragic social situation.
Oh my God, it's not that
lip syncing Happy Birthday. Because it's not about the singing.
It really isn't.
No, I know. Like, you know, you still do, but I just like that had a happy ending. We like got there, you know. But I don't know. Like when you're anxious enough about like the possibility that someone could hear you sing, like
Oh, yeah,
anytime that there's a public form of singing, like you don't want to participate in it.
I totally feel you on that.
You know,
though,
it's like it's a process.
Every time I started singing, like I still think, like I think, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Holy shit.
I still think I can't really sing that well, but that's mostly because I don't know how to use techniques. I think my singing voice is all right, sort of, on a good day. Like I think it's all right on a good day. I know that it's anyway, but I just hate singing in front of anybody else because my sister, whenever I started singing, like just randomly, even like humming, she would tell me to shut up. Like seriously, just it's ugly.
Siblings,
shut up.
yo.
You need to stop.
My sister too.
Oh, that's fucking vicious.
Yeah. And it's like that stuff is so frustrating because like,
and it stays with you.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, this was one comment one time when I was like 8, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but it's like you, especially if you're very like vulnerable about creative things, or if you're like good at other things and you want people to like think you want to be good at everything. But yeah, like this is why, you know, maybe like when you're looking at other people's work, especially if it's like in your discipline, like you don't have to be like, oh my god, this is so bad. Like,
in the end,
why would they even do it? Like, and the fault is on the person who's looking at it and saying that, and like not giving you room to actually like grow and get better at it.
In the end, we just need to learn how to be bad at stuff more. I especially, like, Arno can attest to that. Basically everything in London that you tried to get me to do a try out, I was just like, nope, I can't do that. I can't do it, so I can't do it.
Wait,
so
I don't remember that.
anything from like trying out like accents and whatever kind of singing or vocal tips that you tried to give me, and I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't try that out here now in front of you. What? No. I don't like not being good at things, especially in front of other people. Sometimes I even get embarrassed in front of myself. Like
something
so bad.
That's related, like heavily related.
Yes, Greg.
Related. Heavily related. Something.
Yeah, remix me. Let's baby drive.
Everything's a remix.
Exactly.
So I was talking to someone, I genuinely can't remember which person it was in my creative scatty chat, but they were talking about the fear of putting something up if it wasn't good, or up to their standards, or generally that kind of idea. And what I said to them was, especially if you're trying something new, especially if you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, is that it's not going to be good. The first thing you do in anything is gonna be shit. Like, it just is. And so having a fear of putting something up for people to then judge if it's the first time we've ever done something, it's a fear that we've all had, but it's a fear that we all need to get over. Because, like, you think Donald Glover's first rap song was good? Like, probably not. It's like to his standards. But it's the fact that an artist can start and get somewhere. Van Gogh, you reckon Sunflowers was his first painting? No. You reckon, there's a brilliant quote from Aaron Hansen, who is an animator, artist, etc., etc. And his friend Dan was talking about not wanting to draw because it wouldn't be as good as Aaron's drawings. And Aaron said this really funny thing, which was, you think I came out the pussy drawing Mozart?
There are so many.
Amazing.
Which is like, obviously, haha, Mozart wasn't an artist. But like, it gets the point across, which is the first thing you do will be bad, but you need to do it in order for the second thing to be good.
It's kind of like that rusty
tap running,
old
yeah.
tap analogy again. I love that so much. Like Rosie, I don't know. I don't think Rosianna made it up. I think she was referencing somebody else, but I love that
It's an
so
excellent
much.
analogy. Excellent metaphor.
Yeah.
Good too, because like you can sometimes, like, it's not just like, oh, I've never done this art form before, I'm going to try to do this for the first time, it won't be good, which is totally, I mean, we had this whole great time at VidCon where we were like all sitting around and talking about like our first YouTube channels, and just like the disasters that were our first few videos, which is like important, but also like one thing that I've been doing recently is just picking like one thing that I want to try out or expand on, and like recognizing that it won't necessarily be great. Like I want to now focus on like doing more interesting stuff with lighting, or like recently it was like I want to try to incorporate like longer shot versus shot dialogue scenes, and like I did that in this recent film, and like it took me like a month to get myself to release it because because it was shaky and the pacing was weird, and I tried to get them to do this improvising thing that didn't work, and I was just like, I don't know if I should post it, but then I like did, and now I'm like working on dialogue stuff that's much better than that, because it's just such a fast way to like get yourself to learn a specific thing by like trying it out, not quite getting there enough to like make something nice that people like, but like then being like, okay, and now we're gonna move on from there. But it's sort of like it doesn't go away once you've like started to make stuff that you think is good. Like there's still room to like,
there's always something.
Yeah.
Actually, Rebecca, I think you said something about not always not always releasing everything to the public, right? But I also think that that might actually be a good thing, that you don't make it too, like, make ideas and a project too precious, too precious to release, and that you're afraid what people might think, so that you won't improve because it's not out there.
Yeah.
You won't feel like you can try again.
Yeah, I think again, what we were talking about earlier, it depends like on what way you don't think it's good enough in. Like for me, the like one biggest thing that I haven't released, I didn't release because I don't like the representation of queerness in it. Even if no one else sees that, I see it and I don't like it. But like this thing, it was like, it really bugs me how shaky the camera work is in the beginning. No one else cares about that. And like I just like threw it together, put it up. I was like, fine, we're just gonna, threw it together, but whatever. After like, many weeks of editing, but like I just put it up and I was like, whatever, it's fine. And then like no one cared that it was shaky. People really enjoyed it, and it was like fine. And I learned anyway.
Honestly, there's this one, whenever I think of like shaky camera footage or whatever, this one scene from Pirates of the Caribbean always comes to mind. And I think I've watched like movie mistakes or whatever, and that's only how I noticed, because I never noticed before. But there's this one scene where you can just, I don't know, have you watched the movie?
Yeah,
whatever. If you so you see this one scene where you have this little like just the water and just a couple of stray oars like floating on the water, but you can tell that it was shot on a shaky boat, because the camera is just really shaking like that, like really badly. And that's definitely not intended. Like there was supposed to be a sort of steady-ish shot. And so whatever, if a video like on YouTube isn't completely perfect, just, neither are Hollywood movies.
That's true.
And those have like dozens of people checking and editing them.
Yeah, and like also it's not worth it. Like, sometimes like, or rather it is, like, it's not worth it to try to aspire to that standard, especially because like there's so many things wrong with Hollywood. But like if what you're making is doing something worthwhile in other ways, like a technical issue should not hold you back. So
exactly. Speaking on like on that topic, kind of, I kind of want to talk about like, on the one hand, how limitations can get you to be more creative, because you have to be to make things work, but also how limitations can just really stop you from doing what you want to do. And I've had
I love this topic.
Because I've had both of these things happen to me during vets. I don't know, before Greg gets super excited, should I maybe just talk
Say
about my
things.
experiences?
Talk.
Okay, I'll say things. So first off, I mean, obviously just having like a structure of like a 30-day project, it limits you in what you can get done editing wise and scripting wise. That's why I said, I mean, I haven't scripted any of my videos. I only did a little bit of research for the brand names video, and I think that was about it. I had like a rough idea for some, but never any scripts. But so yeah, that format of 30 days definitely restricts you, and that forces a certain type of creativity. But I also found that my DSLR really limits me in some ways. When I was in Berlin, I borrowed my mum's G7X, and I fucking love that camera so much. It's so good, and it's so small compared to a DSLR anyway. I could just carry it around in my pocket and just whip it out whenever I saw something that I liked, and it was fairly, subtle. Cameras are never super subtle, but it just opened this whole new world of things I could do, and also because it has quite a wide angle lens, at least compared to what my DSLR has. It just had this whole it felt like a fucking breath of fresh air that just enabled me to do videos that I always wanted to do but never really could get to work in the way that I wanted to. With the lenses that I have on my DSLR, and also just with the bulkiness of my DSLR. So yeah, that's like two things where limitations can create creativity and also stop it and hinder it, and that's my 2 cents.
So here's 2 more cents.
Yes, please.
What Danny said is perfectly valid, and it's great, and it's brilliant,
Thanks,
well done, Danny.
Thanks.
So hashtag Greg made a video on this topic.
I've actually, I know, I've seen it, sort of. I haven't watched all of it because
fine.
it's too long.
It's long. It's intentionally
It's so fucking long.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
It got featured in 1080, so it must be good, I guess. And I talk about how to make videos on a budget. And the reason for that was during the Smaller YouTubers panel at SITSI this year, someone asked a question which was essentially, how do I start making videos when I don't have the equipment that you guys use? And I believe it was Angela, bless Angela, for saying like, fuck it, just make it and then you'll get better. And I wanted to expand upon that point because she didn't really mention how you can let your limitations influence the work you make. And so I made this 15-minute video on how to make videos for basically free. And because like we've all got a fucking camera, we've all got one, it's called a phone, and we all have editing software. It's called Movie Maker or iMovie. It's not the best, but guess what? It can jump cut. You're good. And
True.
what I want to apply that to is the rest of art. So do we all have a basic understanding of how animations are made?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So like the classic Disney films, you would have someone draw every single frame or keyframe or whatever. And then when the movie was made, you would have another set of artists come in and clean it up. They would like essentially the first person would draw it in pencil, the second person would go over it in pen. That's like a really simple way of putting it. And then Disney ran out of money. It was during the 50s, I believe. It's what was known as the Dark Age of Disney.
I remember. Yeah.
If anyone has seen Robin Hood, I think 100 Dalmatians as well. Sorry?
Robin Hood was my favorite.
Did they reuse stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
So they were well known for reusing animation that they'd already drawn and also not cleaning it up. So something that made 101 Dalmatians really quite popular was its scratchy style. As in, if you look at any image, you can Google it right now, look at any image from 101 Dalmatians or Robin Hood or anything that came out around that time period, it will look like it was just done in pencil and then colored in. And it's scratchy and the animation is kind of not quite up to Disney's standard. And that was because Disney literally didn't have the money to hire like cleanup artists. If someone wants to like fact check me, that's fine because I'm running off memory. But what it led to was a really distinctive and unique art style that people then copied. And it was like, it wasn't a creative choice. Disney just didn't have the money.
Yeah.
And
limitations.
Yes. And that also applies to other areas. Case in point, Mario. We all know what Mario looks like. However, what we might not all know is that every single aspect of his design was dictated by limitations. Why does Mario have a hat? It's because back in the 8-bit era of video games, they didn't want to animate hair. Hair was too complicated, and because he was quite small, we might not have known what that brown lump was. So they gave him a red hat. They gave him a mustache so that they could separate his nose and his chin. They gave him dungarees so that you could see where his arms were in relation to his body.
Why do I know all of this?
Because it's
Nerd.
kind of well known in the correct circles. But basically every element of classic Disney films and Mario's design and countless other things were dictated entirely because of limitation. And it's led to some of the most incredible creative things the world has ever seen. And so my message from this crazy nerdy Greg rant is, don't see your limitations as a roadblock, see them as a puzzle for you to solve in order to create something you may not have otherwise created if you had access to everything.
Okay, with that, which is like, I aggressively agree. There was something that Craig said either like in a video or on Twitter or something about like how important it is to like, for photography to like just try using like a bad camera, whatever that means. And I think like in film and in a lot of other like art forms, there is like an increasing emphasis on technology as like the higher forms are becoming more and more accessible to people who have a certain amount of money. And so like, it's just realizing, I guess, that like, if you can make a photograph or like make a film with like an iPhone that's actually like interesting, then that's the point. Like it's not the more advanced technology is only there to give you more options of things to adjust. And especially, and if you don't know yet, like what those are, like if you don't know what like aperture means or like how to adjust your ISO or like what shutter speed to use, like that those won't add that much to your art. And like you should, if you are actually good at making things, you should be able to make them with whatever you have.
Yeah.
Isn't there this film genre? I remember like suddenly there was this film genre that was founded basically on like low on technology that would like shitty
Mumblecore perhaps?
Maybe.
I mean, in photography, there's also lomography. If you remember me telling you about that, Arno, it's basically, you know, intentionally using expired films and cross-processing them and not really knowing what the result looks like and like enjoying the process of the making and not necessarily like knowing your stuff. Just kind of shooting from the hip, not really looking at what's in the lens.
Right.
And I really like that.
Yeah, it's also like good to, I mean, like start adding on tools or more fancy things. Like if you have the ability to, only when you know why you want them. Like for instance, this year, halfway through shooting this web series, I bought a light kit because I had been using this like lamp with a paper lantern over it propped up on boxes. It was actually working great. But at a certain point I was like, wow, I wish that this light could be brighter and also angled specifically in this direction and also slightly higher. And also if it could like be reflected off of something. And then I was like, Rebecca, buy a softbox. And like, since I was able to do that, I did. But like, I think that if I had had a softbox before, I was thinking about light in that way when I was much more used to working with natural light, it just would have stressed me out. And I would have been like, okay, I need to figure out how to use this. I don't know where to put this. And like so much, especially like beginner filmmaking struggles because people have all of this fancy equipment that they don't know how to use, but they feel like the people who do stuff well use this equipment. So like, I should use it too. Yeah. But like the people who do well use the equipment well. And also like are making things that are good and are aided by good equipment, but like the equipment's not the point.
Like
It's funny, kind of looking at my YouTube video, like older YouTube videos. I've had the same camera since the beginning of my entire channel,
but your
like,
videos got so much better over time.
the quality, like the image got better, but like it's just because you get used to a camera.
Yeah.
Right? You know how to actually handle it.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And like for me, for example, I've had a softbox for ages. I think I might have bought it like a couple of months into getting my DSLR, so that like fairly at the beginning of you know, the time that I wanted to make videos on YouTube regularly. But I feel like I still don't really know how to use it. I just turn it on, point it at my face, and hope that things are brighter. And I definitely feel like I could get more out of it if I knew how to use it properly. But for now, it serves me well because I can light my videos when it's fucking dark outside. So that's all I need it for right now. And if I need more expert knowledge on it, that's great. But you also don't need a softbox to make YouTube videos. So
like these things can be helpful, but shouldn't be barriers to entry.
You know, there's this really nice softbox in my room, and it's kind of getting late, so I think I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed too.
Nice segue from softbox to my bed.
That's amazing. That's actually really clever. I love that.
What time is it there?
It is 11:20.
Yeah. And I have an all-nighter tomorrow, so I should sleep.
For me, it's 10:20. They say 10:15. It's 18 minutes past. So like, whatever, fam. But yeah.
19. Excuse you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What is it over there, Rebecca?
But like, Britain's an hour behind them. So.
19.
5?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
All right.
What was I gonna say? Yes. So
I'm gonna go.
Do you have a good time?
Yeah.
Lucy?
Good night, Lucy.
Bye.
Sleep well.
Good night.
Take care.
Thanks for letting me be on
It
here.
was amazing. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Sleep tight.
Danny, a while ago we were talking about the early expressionist German film Das Kabinett das Dr. Caligari.
Yes.
You can just call it the Cabinet.
No, I will
It's
not.
German.
I
Das
refuse.
Kabinett des Caligari.
I will use a butchered version of German because I
Before you'll use the translation?
the hipster.
As long as
my
you don't say
God.
Van Gogh, which is
My
Dutch and not
favorite
German, but you know.
artist is Van Gogh.
Close enough. You want to know how to pronounce it?
Go on.
Van Gogh.
Yeah, I'm not going to try that.
That's how you pronounce it.
Wait, but so what were you going to say about that movie?
About that movie is that, as far as I can recall, basically German film back then was not anywhere near the level of any other film. I wonder why, like 1920s Germany was not doing so hot culturally.
Weird, eh?
Weird, really peculiar.
So weird.
Yeah, and so they just didn't have like the budget or any kind of regular filmmaking type stuff. And so they just made their sets out of cardboard. Essentially, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is a Kick the PJ video. And here's why. They like, made the sets out of cardboard
video
and
title.
like they literally painted like Caligari's face this weird way and made everything look dead weird and crazy, and accidentally invented expressionism. Like,
Oops.
what? Yeah. And so through the limitations, like, I guess on set, someone went, gosh, we don't have access to a castle. Like, let's make it out of cardboard. And then someone went, won't that look really weird? And they went, yes, damn it, and went with it. And if we're going to use the modern example that I just sort of clicked of Kick the PJ, PJ is an absolute genius, right? Because even though he's got like access to everything right now, he still sticks with what he did way back then when he had access to nothing, which is, I'm going to make shit out of cardboard and stop motion and paint, and I'm going to use a simple camera and just edit it and do things. Like, it's so clever, man. Just use your limitations as creative tools. Use them.
Yeah, that's really good.
Like if someone, right, if you go to Van Gogh, right, if you go up to him,
Oh,
if you go to Van Gogh and
no,
say,
no, please,
and say,
not again.
okay,
Dude, I don't care. I don't care how you pronounce it.
I do though.
Why?
you
You're
go-
German.
if you go to my pal Vincent and you say, here's Photoshop, go wild, or like an actual drawing program, I don't know what they're called. If you give him a computer, a tablet, and a drawing program and say, go wild, he's probably still going to make the same shit. But if you go to like a new artist and give them this drawing program, they're not going to have the first idea of what to do because they don't know all the different brushes, they don't know all the different settings. They're just going to like draw a stick man because they're drowning in choice. But if you go up to someone and you give them a single biro pen and say, draw something, that's when you're going to get something good. Because you've given them a brief, you've given them, or if you don't even say draw something, if you give them a biro pen and say draw the ocean, then you're going to get something good. Because they're going to work with their limitation, they're going to think about what they're doing, and they're going to actually give you something rather than just having a blank page and a million tools.
I think also like all of the
Absolutely.
tools emulate things, and like even like Photoshop brushes are, I mean, I don't really know much about this, but like are related to different kinds of physical brushes, or like even different things that your physical brush can do, or different ways that you can hold it. And so like the thing with me and softboxes and light and stuff is that I had spent so much time with natural light that like I know what light feels what way instinctively. And I'm like, okay, I want this person to be here in relation to the sun. So like when I move to using the light kit, I know where to put the lights to make it feel the way that I want it to feel. Yeah. Because I've spent so long doing it with just like, here's the room that I'm in and here's the sources of light. And like still often I like for the next thing that I'm doing, I was like, yeah, I want it to be super professional. I'm going to use my light kit. And we like went to the room and I set up the light kit and then I like turned off the lights and just used the light from the window.
Brilliant.
So much better.
Amazing.
So much better.
Amazing. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about so I do photography and I really want to get into using reflectors for portrait photography, but I just have no idea how light works yet. I mean, I've got the basic gist of it, but I wouldn't, if I bought a reflector now, I just wouldn't know how to use it effectively. So pretty much you and the softbox, really.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that often the moment that you know that it's like maybe time to get that thing if you can is when you start like emulating it like badly. Like I got to the point where I was like, okay, I want more light on the other side of their face because part of their face is in shadow. I don't want it to be that much in shadow. I know. I'm going to get a bunch of white pieces of paper, you know, and it's like at that point maybe get a reflector. But like if you don't have that desire to change that thing in that specific way, then like
then you just be overwhelmed.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah,
related in one of the old live streams, we were talking about how to light our faces as we're talking, because that's just a good way of having a live stream, is being able to see you. And both Taha and Sam just kind of revealed this secret, and I find it quite amusing that sometimes if you ask a professional or just someone with experience how to do a thing, the answer is really simple because like everyone's just sort of winging it. And essentially, it's kind of different with mine because I'll show you my setup. And what they said to me was, Greg, all you got to do is buy a lamp and don't point it at your face. And so I went out, I bought a lamp and just attached it to like my set of, where are we? I literally don't know. This is mirrored. I attached it to my set of shelves, right? And then I pointed it at my yellow pin board. And it's sort of dispersing the light. I've also got fairy lights to sort of help with it. And it's dispersing the light and it's casting a glow on my face. And it's kind of like a warm, kind of yellowy, orangey, fiery glow. But if I wanted anything else, then I would just angle the light upwards. And suddenly you've got that, or I angle it kind of like over there. And if I really wanted to, then I can angle it on my face and suddenly I'm being interrogated. So
I think...
I have this wonderful lantern thingy that I use for my videos.
Oh, you use that for your videos? I didn't know that.
Yeah, including like natural light plus this, it gives like good lighting.
I think Also, like with that, one thing I love about light is like over this like this spring and summer, I started taking headshots because like I know a bunch of actors and like I do photography, but like I hadn't taken like a professional headshot before. So I did all this research and they were pretty much just like, buy this thing, buy that thing, buy this thing.
No.
I was like, oh. And then after like running around and taking a bunch of them and finding like specific places that worked really well, I just realized that like the subject just needs to be better lit than the background. Like that's it. That's all. Like, and so like the best ones that I always got were like in overhangs outside. Like if I'm not working with a light kit, so I can't like make sure that they're more brightly lit. Like I got these amazing ones like in like right at the edge of a parking garage. So like the subject was lit by bright daylight and then the entire background was
that
dark
sounds
because
amazing. Yeah, I've heard
it looked like we were using like professional equipment, you know, and we were not. Just because like it's all of the professional equipment is just to do what light already does.
Yeah, like one video where I don't know who it was by, some YouTube photographer. They used like a garage and like framed the person or actor or whatever with the garage and just took like close-ups and that worked really well. And you also had kind of the light bouncing off the road.
Right.
So that worked really well. Getting tired.
Nice.
Getting so tired.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I can use the wax.
Another thing, okay, just because we're talking about light, but like another thing I really love about light is like using it, is using it like not straight on.
My iPad is about to die. I just need to move. For
But,
some
like,
reason it wasn't charging, although it was meant to.
But one of the best things that I've learned about lighting over time is that like it's so much better if it's not just like, we want this thing to be bright, we're going to throw light at it, but like lighting it from the side or like from above, or I don't light from above a lot, but like mostly just like lighting
right now. It's lit like that.
Yeah, and like this is also just how I live my like I just love diffused light, so I just bought this like diffused desk lamp from IKEA.
Hell yeah.
That's this.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
This is this thing.
And it's and it's like a nice way, but like I really like side light because it like shapes the face more than just like, yes, I'm properly lit now, but it's just like the light isn't doing anything, it's just affecting. I mean, it's just making sure that I am visible, but like here it has more of an effect.
It gives a personality.
Like, different places that the light goes, you know, have different effects, which is super interesting. But I think it's a lot easier to figure out like what all that means by like going out in like semi-daylight, like especially at the golden hour, and like seeing the best places for light, or like moving a lamp around, rather than just being
sometimes
like,
I'm a little bit intimidated by like, because the golden hour can also kind of provide like really harsh shadows at times, because it's not supposed to, because it's like really long shadows and they're not as harsh as like midday light, but they're still quite harsh, and I'm never really sure how to work them.
I mean,
anyway, I feel like I feel like you and I should chat photography like in depth sometime, because yes, please.
I feel like and we're actually gonna go to bed now.
Okay.
So
good night, Arno.
Good night.
Have a good
night, Grandpa.
Well, oh shoot, my episode is going up.
Oh damn. All right.
No, I mean this is not relevant, but sleep well.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Good night. Sleep well. Sleep tight.
Oh dear.
So, you know, there's something about like when you're creating things that you're constantly working on them. For instance, I'm releasing a web series episode real quick.
Yeah, sure, do it.
But other people talk about things.
Yeah.
What was I gonna? I had a thing. Oh no, I was gonna chat shit about a topic.
Light? Something other than light?
Probably just that like everything seems more complicated than it is, and if this is advice that I definitely need to take on, but if you're worried about being an amateur in a world of especially in the case of us, where on Twitter like we're constantly talking to such talented people who have like got their own little niche and stuff, and so trying to like step your toe into that can be intimidating, is that oftentimes everyone is just winging it, and an entire industry can be built around bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so never be afraid to just, oh, this ties in really well, actually. Never be afraid to just ask someone how to do something. Because very rarely, I mean, if you find a gatekeepy kind of person, then get rid of them, they're trash.
Yeah.
Very rarely will people be upset that you're trying to join their creative field. And also, so I once worked at a branding agency as their social media manager. It was a very short period of time, but I feel that I learned some valuable things with them, both on the topic of social media and on branding, but also, now that I think about it, just on like life advice. Case in point, my boss once said a throwaway comment to me. Like I probably just asked him where to find the toilet or like the drinks or whatever. And he said, because we were at an event, and he said, you don't know anything until someone tells you. And like,
well, yeah.
Right? It's such a simple thing, right? But it stuck with me and it hit home because I was always terrified to ask anyone for help if they were smarter than me or like in a position of authority or anything like that, because I was terrified of not knowing basic shit.
Yes, so much. Yes, that's my relationship with university basically summed up in just one sentence. Thank you.
And just to hear that from my actual boss of being like, you don't know shit until someone tells you, whether that someone is a sign on the wall saying toilets this way, or whether that someone is Steven Spielberg telling you how to set up a camera shot. Like, you don't know shit, and so never be afraid of not knowing anything, because the act of asking someone is the act of showing interest in their creative field.
Absolutely. Yeah, signing that, definitely.
Yeah. Also, like, take time to educate yourself. You also, like, don't even necessarily have to, like, ask a person. You can often, like, ask Google or YouTube or, like, there's, and often, like, especially if you don't like asking people for help, and it's not something that, like, that you need that specific, it's just like, oh, I don't, like, recently I was having this thing where I went through all the things that I don't know that much about film that I wanted, like, I don't know much about, like, the effect of different lenses. So I, like, went and watched a bunch of different YouTube videos on people talking about, like, this lens does this lens does that, like, this lens length makes you feel this way. Here are all these tests. And I watched, like, all of this. I read all these articles. And then after that, I was like, okay, here's where we are with lenses. But that was a much more, like, I don't know, that was a much more sort of comprehensive way, rather than like one person being like, oh yeah, I really like 25 millimeter lenses. To sort of learn.
Really good. And
I'm getting so tired, guys.
That's fine. We should wrap this up at some point, because like we've been going on for a while.
I just want to check if there are any questions that I wrote down that we haven't answered, that we haven't addressed.
You check that while I give this little
what were you going to say?
So I was talking to my friend Drew, because we're both very, very amateur hobbyist photographers. Like, we specifically try and be hobbyist. I don't think he has his camera anymore, and so we both just go out and use our phones, and we just have fun with it, and it's great, and we just do it exclusively for Instagram. We call them Instamissions. We're really cute, okay? Like, we realize that we don't go out enough and like spend time together enough, and so we come up with an excuse to go on an adventure. Which
that is
like,
actually fucking adorable, and I want a friend to do that with.
Yeah, right. It's so nice. So we say to each other, "Yeah, I'm bored. Do you want to go on an Insta mission?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can go anywhere you want. Somewhere that's like really exciting, like the top of a mountain, or just somewhere really boring, like the Sainsbury's car park." And we go out and explicitly go out with the intention of taking pictures, and we end up just like having a chat, having a great time. It's so good. And
what did I just do? Okay.
You turned your video on.
Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah.
And something we were doing whilst having a chat one time was that I was doing what you said, Rebecca, of I went out and learned just the basics. And the one that I'm going to use in particular is just the rule of thirds. I was chatting to him about the rule of thirds.
Love the rule of thirds.
Right. And something interesting that he said was that I don't want to I'm not going to quote him because I don't want to misquote him. But basically, he said that he didn't consider it, he didn't want to consider it, and that he just disagreed with the idea of all of these rules of photography and stuff. And we had a bit of a disagreement about it, which was like really lighthearted and whatever, because we're best mates.
Yeah.
And essentially the conclusion that I came to, it's not like a profound thing, it's a really simple idea, is that the rules weren't written. Nobody went out and wrote the book on photography. I mean, like, there were books on photography, but there was no one authority who said, this is the law and you've got to follow it to make a good photo. And this applies to all art mediums and whatever. Simply what happened was there was a trend and someone noted the trend and wrote it down and said, this is what most good photos have in common.
Yeah. Like, right now there's this, sorry for interrupting you.
Please do.
I'm in this photography group called Build and Bloom by Jessica Whittaker, I think, which is amazing, by the way. The whole group is amazing, but there are a lot of annoying people on there because you know that Brandon Wolfel, I have no idea how to pronounce his last name, but he's amazing. He does this like neon lighting, fairy lights, bokeh kind of stuff, and I really like his photos, and a lot of people love his photos.
Crushed blacks brought back up.
And they're so on trend. Like, you see so many people, especially in that group, emulating him, and oh fuck, people get so annoyed with people trying his style. And it's just so annoying. Just let people do whatever they like to do. If they like his pictures, just fucking let them try it out. Anyway, sorry.
I fully agree with what you just said.
Trends.
Yeah. Don't get annoyed at people trying to emulate someone's style, because that's them trying to understand what makes that style work, and then they will, through emulation, figure out what works for them.
Yes,
and
100%. Thank you. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And also,
and learning the rules and stuff. I mean, it's such a cliche, and like I hate this, but also like the better you get at the rules themselves, the more you realize how arbitrary they are, and like how much easier they are to break. Like with photography and stuff, like I learned the rule of thirds, and for a long time I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this on this axis, that, and now I like barely even think about it. I mean, I have the grid up on my camera always, so I'm just like, oh, that there, but every once in a while I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna not use the rule of thirds, but it's like it's for a reason, and like you can feel why you're doing it, and it means that like your deviations from like the rule of thirds, or like the 180-degree rule, or all of the 5,000 rules of filmmaking, like are for a reason and not an accident.
I really want to get to a point where I can at least choose to apply those kind of concepts and rules, because right now I'm just really glad if my picture's in focus.
Real.
So
that's just fair.
Okay, but like some of my favorite photos that I've taken are not properly in focus.
Yeah, fair. But if you take like headshots, they're kind of supposed to be.
Oh yeah, that's true. Know? But like for like, there's a whole question about like professional photography versus like interesting photography, and sometimes the photos that are like that you can have the most to say about and feel the most like you would go to a gallery and like talk about it for half an hour are the ones that aren't like technically
just breaking
as
the
good.
rules.
I mean,
like welcome to Greg. I make everything about Lord. So,
hello, Greg.
Have we all listened to Melodrama?
No.
Right. Well, in the middle of that album, there is a song called Hard Feelings. And in the middle of that song is like a 30-second break where the music's still playing, but she stops singing. And in the place of her voice is a sound that I can only describe as robots having sex.
Sorry. Amazing.
And like, it's weird and it's mechanical and it's just like groaning, movements of like old
I
machinery.
need to listen to this song. I want to hear
Right.
robots fucking.
And if you'd have told,
This is really the way to appeal to the ace crowd.
yeah, exactly, non-gendered sex. There you go. But like, oh god, if you'd have told anyone that they should put that in their pop song, they would have laughed in your face. And yet Lord's gone out and done it, and it's managed to be incredibly moving and just like, oh, it really conveys the tone of the song. And like, she broke the rule, and whatever rule that was, the rule of you should sing in your songs. But she just smashed it. And something else is, okay, so there's like this really not very well known genre of music. It's called punk. Like you may not have heard of it, you know.
No, I don't think I have.
No.
What is it? What
Yeah,
is it?
punk, right? Isn't
No,
like
it doesn't ring a
even
bell,
the very
sorry.
foundation of punk?
Oh, jeez.
The idea that you're breaking every conceivable rule.
Yeah, basically.
That's true. Yeah, but it's also like good with that to know which rules you're breaking and why. Like, and it sometimes can
Absolutely
make the
agree.
breaking more powerful. Okay, this is one thing I've been thinking about recently about filmmaking, because like I got my start, and most of the stuff that I've made is like montage, like non-linear, sometimes with voiceover, sometimes not, like very, and that was partly because of limitations, because it's like I can't do like a Hollywood look and dialogue scene, so I'm not going to try, but I can do something that feels fully formed as a short film if it is in this other more experimental mode. But one thing I've been working on recently is combining that with more traditional shot, reverse shot type dialogue scenes, because that way, like, for instance, the thing that I'm working on now, I was going to have like 2 different montage sequences, but instead I like replaced the first one with just a sequence of really short, much more standard scenes, because like that way it's building, all these conversations, you're getting attached to the character, and then bam, we go into the montage, and it's like all of the feelings happen all at once. But like saving the thing that like amplifies and breaks the rules and doesn't do what you expect it to for a climactic moment can often make it feel a lot more powerful and purposeful and like motivated than just having that as though I mean obviously like I love the times that I've done it before, but it's cool like trying to think about how to make something that's a longer form and still experimental in that way, to limit some forms of the experimentation to a smaller part of it so that you can really feel that that's what's happening.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to keep throwing like good examples because I feel that in this conversation they work. So I fully agreed on break specific rules to achieve a specific purpose. I'm a big fan of a hip hop group called Run the Jewels. And in one of their songs, which I can't remember its name because I listened to just the entire album, so like it all blends together for me. One of their songs, there's this one lyric which literally the one line is just, we don't remain in our places, or we won't remain in our places, or whatever. And the way they do that, like if you got earphones in, generally the music comes out of both earphones. Pretty standard idea.
Yeah.
But with this one line, they like, I don't know, did something, they mixed it weirdly. I don't know terms, I'm not a musician, but they did it so that we won't remain in our comes out of your left ear and places comes out in the right ear. It's such a simple
I love it
thing,
when yeah.
right? And it works. It gets across the point of the message. Like you can hear them moving in your, it's great. But then if we're talking about film, I recently went to see Blade Runner 2049. It's incredible.
I still have to watch the first one.
You don't.
Like the original.
I mean, like...
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a good movie, and it's a classic movie that is like, oh, it's one of those movies everyone should watch. But it doesn't hold up to modern standards of filmmaking, and also you don't need to have seen it to understand the new one.
Okay.
So
well, I've read the book that Blade Runner was inspired by. I wouldn't really say based on, because
if you know the story, or if you at least know the concept behind Blade Runner.
I know the world. Let's say I know the world.
You should watch the first Blade Runner. It's like, if you've read Do Androids Dream, it's so interesting the ways that it like messes with and changes the format of the book. Yeah. I mean, and also like why like you shouldn't watch it is like it has really questionable like sexual politics, so like it can be really difficult to watch because of that.
Right,
and that's
okay.
why one, like maybe don't.
So that's why Greg is probably getting excited
also from,
about
like,
2049.
like also the amount of like the kind of queerness in it is wild. But anyway, I have a lot of feelings about Blade Runner, and I normally do not like uh mainstream movies. I don't like the straight white guy movies like ever. But this is like one that I think is really interesting. Okay,
Have
go
you
ahead.
seen 2049, Rebecca?
No.
There is, okay, so it mirrors the original in a lot of ways, and in one of those ways, it mirrors the sex scene, right?
No.
It does it in such a good way.
Really?
It functions as a criticism of the original sex scene.
Oh, thank God.
But
I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Go
I just
pee.
didn't want to disappear.
Great.
Like, oh, Blade Runner, fuck off. So yeah, so back.
So I recognize that like we're still on stream and whatever, but so I'm going to relate this to the topic, and also I won't spoil anything. It made me very uncomfortable. However, it was not for the same reason that the original scene made me uncomfortable.
Okay.
Like it's
like, did it like? Sorry, spoil it, but like for the purposes of like, am I going to go and see this in theaters? Did it make it more obvious that it was not consensual? Okay, cool.
No trigger warning at all. You do not need a trigger warning for this film.
Amazing.
At all. The reason it's uncomfortable is because it makes you question your ideas of what sexuality is. And especially as an ace person. Like, wow,
yeah,
dude.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's good. Don't you worry about that. But the scene I wanted to bring up was there is a fight scene. I will say no more than that, but there is a fight scene that is silent. Like, typically, in your big blockbuster action film, you're going to have swelling music to accompany this emotional action-packed moment.
Yeah.
It's silent, aside from the sound effects, because it doesn't go like full-on silent movie. You've got your sound effects of like people getting punched in the face, and you have, I'm just to say, you have Elvis music playing.
Really?
Huh. None of that makes sense, like, to modern movie making standards, right? You just don't do that. You don't have Suspicious Minds by Elvis playing over this fight scene where there is no original soundtrack playing. It's just weird. But because they broke that rule, it makes the fight scene one of the best I've just ever seen. It's so tense and it's so raw and it's holy shit.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's there's actually like I mean, obviously lots of problems with Joss Whedon. However, Buffy was a really formative show for me. And one of my favorite episodes in that is The Body, which does not have any music in it. And it has it has a fight scene with no soundtrack that's really amazing, and just sort of like another case of like using restraint to
that's really cool.
Make something more interesting. I mean, like actually all of my favorite episodes of Buffy are ones where there was a limitation or like something that it was doing, like the musical one, which you know, it's weird to think of that as a limitation, but in some way, like every important emotional beat in that episode has to come in the form of a song, which is like, how do you do that? And then the one where no one talks, which is like that one, Hush. I mean, it's also like the intro of the like gay love interest. So it's like, you know, obviously a favorite, but like that one, the like voices of the whole town get like stolen by monsters or whatever. But so like most of the episode, there's no dialogue.
That's fucking radical.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to chat about earlier, with like bottle episodes, right? Have you heard the term?
Mm-mm.
So I'm also kind of recognizing that I don't even know if we have an audience right now because no one's mentioned anything in the chat for a while. Either way, this will go up online so people can watch it, so I'll clarify everything. A bottle episode is an episode of a show where they limit the budget to save budget for other episodes of the series. Say they've got like a really expensive finale or whatever. Then one of the episodes will take place in like one location. Oh, we've got Amberine. Hi, Amberine.
There are 4 people watching currently, so I think it's
excellent. We have, I learned it in Community. So in one episode of Community, the entire episode took place in their study room. And of course, Abed, being the character Abed is, he said, "Oh, this is a bottle episode," and everyone was like, "What are you talking about? Haha, funny jokes." And so they save money by just having it be in one location with like no special effects, no big high concept behind the episode. It's just character piece, right?
Oh.
And so because of like budget limitations and location limitations and everything, you end up having some of what people consider to be the best episodes of TV shows. Like Star Trek does this a lot. Star Trek will often just bottle episodes is a concept of whereby
I know what bottle episode.
Yeah, and like
Okay, sweet.
it makes so much sense because like you can't rely on anything else to make it good. This is also why I love like black box theater. You know, with like minimal to no set, is like the only thing that that you have to be good about this is like the acting and the writing. And like, I mean, if it's film, also like cinematography stuff, story choices, whatever, but that's it. You can't rely on anything else that is shiny and cool to make it worth watching.
Amberine has just mentioned that their favorite episode of Doctor Who is a bottle episode, and I don't know
one
which
is
one you're
that?
referring to.
Which
so
one?
please tell us, because I'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, of course that one," but I can't recall off the top of my head.
Also,
But yeah.
where's that? I can't see
Amberine.
the. All right, can't see the chat right now. So
Fair play. You know, you can like pop it out and have it on your screen. Anyway.
well, I'm not sure if I can do that on the iPad.
Midnight.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Oh, it's such a perfect one.
Oh my
Yes.
Oh, it's so fucking creepy. It just
That's the one on the train, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one with, and
Yeah,
the fact
and the
is,
crystal.
they didn't even have a monster. Like
Oh,
they
that
had a
was so good.
monster,
Yeah.
but they got
But you
around it by
never
just having
saw it.
good
Yeah.
acting.
Yeah.
Man, I like
That is it's so creepy. It gave me nightmares, and it still gives me nightmares every single time I
Right?
watch it.
And like series 3, their finale, I know I'm probably like reading too much into the behind the scenes that I don't know, but like their finale was probably pretty expensive. So they probably just went, right, we'll take all the money that we would have used on this episode, shove it into the finale, make it better.
Yeah.
And then Midnight is what everyone remembers because like the Davros episode was kind of not. Was it the Davros episode? Possibly. Either way.
I fell out of love with that show a while ago, but I can still respect a lot of the things that it did.
Right. It's pretty good. Something I do want to question, because you said, when you mentioned Buffy, you said like Joss Whedon's problematic, but Buffy was a good show. What are your opinions on the entire topic of like this famous person is problematic, but they make good shit?
Oh, can we not get into this tonight? I'm too tired to have this discussion.
All right, I have a
really
really
want to
short
have it.
answer.
Give a short answer.
Okay. I think it depends on the person and their involvement in the thing and the level of what it is that they did, and the degree to which that thing affects what they do. So like if it's a person, if it's like a novelist, for instance, who possibly did really questionable things with women and is writing novels, like I wouldn't want to read that. Like it would be very hard to write that without having, but like in the case of Buffy, for instance, while it's like I haven't rewatched it recently, and I probably won't rewatch it for a really long time because I would be seeing the evidence of this, which I am sure is there. But that was the work of a whole lot of people. And it came from a whole lot of different things. And there's this whole other question about how we like, give all of the credit to like one genius dude. That's a whole other issue. Yeah. But like a bunch of different people wrote that show, a bunch of different people directed that show, a bunch of different people acted in, and in very many different ways influenced that show. So it's not like the person is the show is the person.
Yeah, that's cool. That's, basically, I agreed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, same.
Shall we?
We got that over with.
Suggestion.
Maybe.
Let's wrap up the live stream and maybe keep chatting a bit more on the Hangout. Okay, so...
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. How do I think I need to stop the broadcast on...
You also might want to give like some conclusive statements and say bye to everyone.
Okay.
The live stream guy.
Course, but I'm not there yet anyway.
It's just etiquette, right?
What? Etiquette? What?
Well,
me? No?
You introduce
anyway.
yourself and conclude. It's live stream etiquette.
Okay, just
structure.
I'm kidding, Greg. I'm kidding.
Thank you, Danny. I love you.
I thought you knew. Anyway, creative process. We have said a lot of things. I'm too tired to have any concluding statements.
Do you want me to?
But sorry?
Do you want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for
I could have done that.
Well, you weren't. So I'm commandeering this.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
I think
it was actually proper lovely. I love doing this, and now you guys got me hooked on live streams, both hosting and participating. So, this will happen again. But yeah, no, I feel like we, as it does happen with lots of live streams, I guess, lots of tangents. Now we're just chatting about photography and Blade Runner and Buffy and Joss Whedon.
Some pretty good stuff.
Pretty darn good stuff.
We've given a lot of advice.
Yeah.
Considered.
Given a lot of encouragement, I would say, about just doing your shit and owning it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even if it's shit.
Yeah, just even if it's shit, put it out there because the next thing you'll do won't be.
Put your shit out there. Just shit all over YouTube.
And on that note,
shit all over. If you want to talk to any of us more in depth, then feel free to hit us up on Twitter or whatever. And
subscribe to all of us on YouTube.
Subscribe to everyone. Blah blah blah.
Great.
Good stuff. Thank you for a wonderful stream, Danny.
And this was so nice.
I mean, I'm sorry for the initial problems with everything.
It's fine. It allowed me to bring some more people in who might not have otherwise joined us.
Yeah, I really love that. And I also like that I think Arno and Lucy stormed your live stream and got people to, love those two. Anyway, thank you, everyone. It's been a blast. And we'll see you, me, everyone soon on the internet, on the tubes. And on all the tubes. All right, let's see if I can do this.
Not the London tube.